Villa Park Village Board at 7 o'clock. And Clerk Konecki, would you call the roll?
Yes, Trustee Salela.
Here.
Trustee Corkery.
Here.
Trustee Kozar.
Here.
Trustee Kumar.
Here.
Trustee Murphy. Here. Trustee Patrick.
Here.
President Kazone.
Here. Rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, and then stay standing, please, afterwards. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Have a quick prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together this evening. May we have meaningful discussions that will help us to assist our village in these trying times. Help us to share meaningful discussions that will affect the staff, directors, and residents of Villa Park. Guide us through the challenges we face, and may we approach each other with respect and kindness as one group. In your name, amen. Okay, we'll come to public comments on agenda items. Clerk Konecki, do we have anyone signed up?
Yes, we do. Start off with Michael Canuco. Sorry, I'm sure I mispronounced it. I'm sorry. Regarding item 9A.
Good. I would like to do my public comments under section 9A to make it a little bit more meaningful for the board, if that would be possible.
Okay.
Thank you. I'll make my comments when 9A is called.
When we're discussing it?
I would give an overview of the facts so you have all the facts there so you could discuss it properly.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, that's fine.
Okay, the next person is Reed Goodrich regarding 9C.
There you go. Thanks.
This has to do with 9C. I had a chance to walk around the neighborhood and I've lived there for over 30 years. I've lost count at this point. And nobody that I spoke with in the neighborhood was for it, except a family member, one of the zoning members, who said how great it was, thinking their property taxes would increase in value on this. I'm not sure where they got that information from, except probably in some handout from the developer, because I just, for the life of me, can't see how putting up a 340 plus apartment house in that neighborhood is going to help anybody. And I would hate to think there was any kind of conflict of interest in his vote. People are concerned about the 24 hours a day traffic, which is plus the problems, which was a pre-pandemic problem, plus the water backup. If anybody thinks the sewer problems have been fixed up there, ask the guy that puts the sandbags around the manholes every time it rains. Any notes that I've seen in the promotional material in this talk about studies, whatever that means, with no indication of intent to resolve. Who protects the neighborhood from the construction dust, noise, pile driving? Somebody's going to have to put some support under this thing, traffic, etc. I understand this project was 2 years in the making, and only last month was placed that I knew of in the public forum, with a timeline that announced rezoning on April the 29th, then only 2 weeks to the zoning meeting, and is now in front of the board less than a month later. I don't remember seeing a publicity release on this. Only a month for the public to become involved. Certainly looks as this is being rushed for approvals. Why is that? I find nothing in the project that benefits the neighborhood. Looks as though the developer got everything he wanted. Tear up the metro lot, replace a lot, and put a replacement parking lot in the midst of homes. All the sellers that sold land for this thing are absentee owners. There was no one from the neighborhood who sold property for this. There is nothing in the deal to enhance or invest in the neighborhood, not even a playground. Perhaps the long-term vibrancy doesn't have room for families who live there, older residents who have lived there for 40-plus years, kids that went to Willowbrook. A healthy neighborhood has been sold out in the altars of tax revenue, personal glory, and gain. Quoting for number 3 of this promotional, page 3 of this promotional item here from the from community development. Successful high-density rate mixed-use projects near commuter rail stations attract similar projects. The small compact blocks north and south of the train station lend themselves to this type of redevelopment. With Washington Station, the TOD overlay district will be positioned to be the next redevelopment hotspot. That just tells me it's the destruction of the neighborhood, And who knows what a TOD overlay district is? Okay? That tells you just how this is being promoted versus the people who are going to be affected by it. You know, if this is how the communication is. Going to page 4, that the rezoning criteria, to the extent which any diminutive in property value is offset by the increase in the public health, safety, and welfare. Well, that's pretty judgmental. I figure at this point, since I've got a parking lot that's going in my backyard, that my property values have just dropped probably $30,000 to $40,000 and have been effectively transferred to the developer. Nobody asked me about it. You know, who plays God to make those kinds of decisions? And the only person I've heard that thought this is going to go up is a zoning fellow. Perhaps he should have read the memo a little closer. This seems to me to be a predation on the seniors, disabled, and minorities, and others who do not have the kind of tools to defend themselves. I believe these are also known as the vulnerable. Who protects their interests? One lady was quite animated in her objection to the project, but she said you can't fight City Hall. Is this true? I know something about the tax incentives of this project. Were they benchmarked against other communities? Elmhurst perhaps, or an independent review? The developer has this information. He has the experience. Does Villa Park is in a position to really assess and judge that? Is Villa Park being taken to the cleaners? I ask this question because I get this feeling someone in the administration seems to be desperate to do something with this, and the developer figured it out. Well, it looks like a carte blanche to the developer and appears to be an exceptional incentive package with little time for public involvement.
Mr. Goodrich, can you kind of wrap it up because we got a lot of people?
I'm down to my
Okay.
last
So we're supposed to be 3 minutes, so.
I know, I was trying to do that. I didn't time it. Plus, I've heard the developer could break ground in July. How does that happen when the approvals are not in place? A wink and a nod? This is the only piece of land between Elmhurst and Elborn that has room for any kind of building. And I hope Villa Park could do better than having the appearance of selling this out at less than what I really think they could get for it. I suggest this project be paused so there may be further review by those who are not so directly involved in the project. Thank you.
Okay, we also have Matthew Abraham.
I'd like to remind everybody that please keep it at 3 minutes.
9C.
Hi, I'm Matthew Abraham. I've lived here, I'm at 402 North Chatham. I've lived in the village for 31 years, and I'm just concerned now with this in my backyard, the parking lot. A couple things. The water, is there going to be sewer enhanced, or is there going to be a fence or a berm to block all the headlights now coming in my windows? So that's my concern. I'll wrap it up there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Ryan Skavarquin. 9C.
All right, thank you for letting me speak to you. I'm coming from the exact opposite of those two gentlemen. We moved here in August, and I promise you, we would not have moved here if that building was going up. I'm an educator. My wife's a nurse. We have a 5-year-old. We have a 6-year-old. We're very active in the community and the park district and everything around us. And I promise you, we would not have come here if that building was going up. We just moved from an area that was highly apartment buildings. It was a nightmare for young children. So my question is, how does this actually benefit the people that already live here? Everything that I saw was people that are going to come in and move here. What about the people that are already here? I spent a lot of money to buy a house, and you guys are taking some of that money from me by building this building, in my opinion. I don't know any of you, so I can't personally judge you, but I'm willing to bet none of you live north of those tracks. If you sit and wait for trains and see the traffic without 400 apartment buildings there, you would not be for this. So again, thank you for my time, and I'm glad the other gentlemen were able to speak on people that have been here for a long time, and I'm able to give the angle from someone that just got here, but this is a bad idea. Thank you.
Okay, Justin Schlensky. And Justin has 3 items he wants to refer to, 8A, 9A, and 9C.
Good evening. Justin Schlensky, 436 North Fulton. First of all, congratulations to the new trustees, in addition to the new appointees and the renewed appointees. There's a lot of people here. I don't know if I see Al, but it's nice to see that he's sticking around with us for a little bit. As for 9A, the staff report reads, Planning and Zoning voted 2-5, recommended approval of the requests. A more accurate, or rather less convoluted way to read that is that we voted 5-2 to deny the requests for the reasons stated on the record of the transcript. As for 9C, I'm in support. I think it's a good move for the community to encourage developments in that area. I think that we did a good job in Planning and Zoning last Thursday of going through the criteria on the records. Also, for 8A, as to the reduction of the members required for community pride, I heavily support that. Goes along with line item 5 on the record. You know, sometimes it can be a tiresome and long job to be an appointed commissioner, so anything that we can do to help our fellow commissions out, I highly support that. In addition, while I do have a little bit of time, I know it's not on an agenda item, but I do see the village posting about it a lot. I'd like to continue to voice my support along with the village to restore the LGDF, which is the Local Government Distributive Fund. During the Rauner administration, approximately July of 2017, while it was cut, it has been recently increased over the last couple of years, and I support Villa Park and other DuPage municipalities and local governments to continue to increase whatever share we can increase that. Our taxpayers should have more input into how the LGDF dollars are spent to benefit our community. So thank you for your time. Thank you for everybody for coming today.
Excuse me, Justin, can you do me a favor? We jumped around a little bit. Can you repeat your recommendation on 9A?
Yes, 9A, I just want to clarify because I felt that it was a little bit misconstrued in the way that it was written into the record from Planning and Zoning's approval. We did not actually approve any requests. We actually recommended 5-2 to deny the requests on the record for 9A. So
Yeah,
it's just,
I was gonna
it's
bring that
written a
up,
little
yeah.
oddly, and I just wanted to clarify that for the record. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Justin.
Okay, the next person, if I'm reading this right, looks either Maria Garza. Okay, Maria. And that's 9C.
Hi, it's Marcia Garza.
Oh, Marcia.
Thank you for having me here today and allowing me to speak. I live on Princeton Avenue, and I am highly, highly opposed to the building that you are planning to erect on Ardmore Street. I've lived here for at least 13 to 14 years, and from those apartment complexes that are right on the corner of my street, there has been some crime that has happened there. The most recent, a murder has happened there. And what happens when you have a lot of rental units, you get more crime, you get more transients. And I don't want that in my neighborhood. And I can't believe that any of you that are sitting there would want that in your neighborhood. So it's not right for you to put that on other people. And I would really, really hope that you would think about the kind of element that you are bringing into the neighborhood and into this community by erecting a building with nothing but rental units. Also, the sewage backup. We have a sewage backup problem in this community. Who's going to pay for that? I know it's not you. You're going to put that on us. We're going to pay for that. Right? Because you don't pay for it. I know that for a fact, that you don't pay for it. So think about it. That's what I have to say about that.
Okay, last one I've got signed up is Penny Goldman.
Hi, folks. Thank you for letting us come together today to speak our piece. I am not an introvert. That's why I'm behind this phone on my side. To all of you folks who are on the other side of this, staring at me, saying, oh, what is she going to say next? I'm going to say, my husband and I have lived here for over 40 years. Yes, I'm a senior, and it's not a crime to be a senior. Some of you folks I've even voted for. So welcome, if you haven't been elected before. We have a little problem here in Villa Park. We have a big problem, actually. When it rains, we get water in our half basement. I've seen what a flooded basement looks like when we moved in many years ago, 21 inches worth. They've done a little bit of work. We do have like a retention pond to the far left. But ever since then, as time has gone by, we have water in our basement. Yes, we can put in a sump pump. You can do all kinds of things. It's only to be matched by Lake Villa Park in our backyard. Now, that is happening because we don't have proper sewers. The water is not managed. You're going to construct a building, and that's fantastic, maybe. I don't think it is. I think it doesn't belong there. We have a lot of traffic already. You should see people coming down my street. They can hardly wait to get home. They don't care what speed they're going at. I nearly got killed just crossing the street because somebody didn't look. Oh, they didn't see me. They were busy driving. And this is before you build. The rain runoff is a problem. Where is it going to go? It's going to go in my house. Fantastic. I'm already, I don't know if I practiced my backstroke or my front stroke recently. I really don't want to find out. Why don't you folks invest in, how about better sewers, better ways to get rid of the water runoff? Because right now, the way that blueprint looks, it looks like the water runoff is directed down our streets. We don't need more water. We don't need that at all. Invest in our future. Invest in our buildings. You just had a nurse and that gentleman who said he just bought here. You don't want to lose him. You want to invest smartly. Think about this, because I'm not for it. I've lived here a long time. We've paid our taxes. We've elected some of you. Represent us. Hear our voice.
That's all I have.
That's all.
No
Okay.
more sign-ups.
Anyone else going to speak on agenda items?
May I address?
Sure.
Thank you for allowing me to do that.
Can you state your name and address, please?
Yes. My name is Susan Rosansky, 490 North Beverly, Villa Park. Our family has been at that address for 3 generations. My background is in the federal correctional system, and my master's degree is in social work. But I have also served as an American Red Cross health safety and disaster response, and I am a former EMT. And what struck me in reading this, as someone who has responded to disasters which are generally man-made or natural, is that there is nothing in here that speaks or addresses the needs of what EMS would be faced with if there were a chemical spill or any kind of collision near the train tracks. And I can tell you from having lived in Oak Park, near the Eisenhower, that's a reality. So even though in the report you say there's no objection from police, there's no objection from fire, these folks are trained to do the job. But how are you going to give them the tools and the strategy with this kind of building? Because it's not mentioned in here, how you will supply that kind of resource and strategic response. Will they have to rely on Elmhurst when that building goes up in flames or has any kind of problem? There's no immediate care center. I presume everybody's just going to go to Elmhurst Hospital. So that's part of my concern in reading this. And I also share other residents' concerns about crime. If it's purely rental, I can tell you from living behind Maple apartment buildings, we have had to retain an attorney because that building management, when it repaved the parking lot, encroached our property 4.5 feet. So who will oversee those plats of survey so that these residents, some of whom are here today, aren't faced with having to engage in legal action to either protect their peace, their property line, or their crime-free neighborhood, which I understand the only thing constant is change, but I also understand that something like this is in some ways an adolescent wanting a car. It sounds great, I'll drive you, mom and dad, and I'll pick up groceries, etc. But there isn't the brass tacks of how are you going to pay for that car? How are you going to handle when you have an accident? How are you going to do the insurance, etc.? And so I guess I'd like this handout raises more questions, and it really reminds me of what you give someone when you want them to buy a timeshare. It's a toaster that's going to blow up in your face if you don't put in the homework now. And the way to put in the homework now, you're doing part of it, getting this feedback, but it sounds like it's already fast-tracked. And I think that lack of transparency and nuts and bolts is bound to backfire at a later point in time. Thank you.
Okay, do we have anyone else?
Hi, my name is Michelle. I live at 407 North.
I'm sorry,
Fulton
what is your
Avenue.
name? Say
Michelle
slowly, your last name?
Boutin, B-O-U-T-I-N. I live
Thank
at
you.
407 North Fulton Avenue. And as one person said previously, we have a lot of problem with the storm water, okay? The sewers supposedly fixed, I think, in 2007. But when we have our manhole covers about a foot bubbling over the ground, and then they just put little barricades, it's right on the corner of the street. You have to make a right turn, you have to go way wide, almost all the way over to the other side of Vermont to make a right turn there. We got enough problems with that. We're forgotten by Public Works when it comes to snow removal. I have lived in Villa Park a total of 26 years. I've been working for 43. And I can't tell you how many times I have not had to call Public Works to get them to come out and plow. It's the 4 blocks, it's Ellsworth, Fulton, Girard, and Hamilton. It's 4 blocks, we dead end at the tracks. It's a total of probably 6 buildings on each of those blocks. 2 minutes to plow each of those blocks. And I have an email from Public Works that tells me, no, we don't do you guys right away. We'll come back to you later, maybe, or maybe the next business day, if we get around to it. And you want to build this building down there, like all rentals. I want to know where those people are going to go right now they're living there. Have you found a place for them to live? Do they have some place to go? Because housing is kind of at a premium right now. We're still in a pandemic, has not ended, will not end for probably at least another year. I work at a medical college, so I do have a lot of scientific knowledge on that. And the businesses that are there, Do they have a place to go, or are they just going to be shut down for 2 or whatever years it's going to take to do this? And the traffic. People coming out of that train parking lot right there forget that Vermont is the cross traffic does not stop. I can't tell you how many times I've almost been hit because these people are flying out of there. Now you're going to have more people flying out of there. I don't think we need that. I am all for development in a good way, but to rush this through is a bad thing for all those people that live there. We're paying our taxes and we're getting treated like crap. And honestly, this is the first time I've seen anything on this. I understand you wouldn't want to do this whole packet and send it out to everybody, but like a one-page notice that says here, this is where you can print it out would have been nice, because I haven't seen anything on it till a neighbor in the area happened to drop it in my mailbox. So I think you need to stop this now and maybe make us more aware of what's going on and of all the meetings that are going on. A lot more work needs to be done on this. There's very few people that are actually for this, very few. North of the tracks, I'm telling you. Again, somebody said, do any of you guys even live over there? Probably not. Thank you.
That's it? Okay. Just for the public knowledge, though, we do have the developer and their engineers here, so the questions will be asked. Pardon me? I'm sure the board is going to bring up the questions that you guys brought up, so in 9C, we will discuss that.
Will we be allowed to ask questions or no? If they're part of this town, they should be able to answer
Yeah.
them, correct?
No.
What's that?
No,
Yeah, I think the questions, the problems that
You
were
don't want them
addressed
to
there.
answer our questions, I
No,
understand.
you'll have, I mean, they'll, I'm sure, give you their information, so you can respond to them, but at the meeting here, I'm sure the board will be bringing up a lot of those questions. So. Okay, next item is amendments to the agenda. Do we have any amendments? Seeing none, we will go to item 5, appointments to board and commissions. We have a lot of commissions, and we have a lot of commissioners who are going to be either reapproved or are going to be appointed tonight. Starting with the Economic Development Commission, Larry Calvert and Tony Odo. Their terms will be May 1st, 2021 to April 30th, 2023. They are already on the board. Environmental Concerns Commission, Bob Wagner, same dates, May 1st, 2021, I'm sorry, and he's going to April 30th, 2024. Fire and Police Commission, Al Balthus, he is going to be appointed, serving from May 1st, 2021 to April 30th, 2024. Firemen's Pension Board, we have Ray Rupp Search, Andrew Phillip, and John Rezut, April 17th, 2021 to April 14th, 2024. Also Marlene Scheibel, same dates. Historical Preservation Commission, Carol Marcus and Jose Castillo, May 1st, 2021, April 30th, 2024. Those are reappointments. Parks and Rec Commission, these are all reappointments. Sam Bosom Jr., George Cordova, Kelly Stasiak, and Cheryl Tucker, serving May 1st, 2021 to April 30th, 2023. Planning and Zoning, the first 4 are reappointments. Larry Calvert, Ken Jackson, Jason Jarrett, Mike Orlowski, May 1st, 2021 to April 30th, 2024. And we have new appointments, Don Case and Eric Ludke, May 1st, 2021 to April 30th, 2023. Police Pension Fund Board, Chris Aiello, reappointment, May 1st, 2021 to April 30th, 2023. And Traffic and Safety Commission, reappointments, Jack Cuthbertson, Jay Pinkos, Carl Timmerman, Karen Timmerman, April 1st, 2021 to April 30th, 2024. And new appointments, Matt D'Alessandro and Bob Wagner, May 1st, 2021 to April 30th, 2023. We have to vote on it, right?
Some of them require advice and consent, some of them don't, so I would ask that you ask the board to approve them en blanc.
Okay. So I would like a motion to approve these appointments. Someone,
I'll make the motion.
okay, Dave Solella,
I will second that motion.
Deepak Kumar, second. Any questions, comments?
Yes, this is trustee Murphy.
Mhm.
I would just like it added onto the record. I received several resident phone calls and emails, and they would prefer that Donald Case not be included in planning and zoning based on a current conflict of interest with his construction company and work that has been and is underway with some of our local businesses. Thank you.
Okay. Think so? Okay.
I don't.
So, you want to say it, or you want me to?
I don't, for the record, if there is a conflict, it would be on a particular project. Someone is not carte blanche in conflict. He would if there was a project before the planning and zoning. Planning and zoning do not do permitting. Planning and zoning do review of development plans. So I'm glad that you made that point for the record, so that the chair of the commission should make note if an issue comes before the planning and zoning in which Mr. Case may have an interest.
Thank you.
Go there.
I would like to address that from Christine. So Don Case owns a construction company in town, and I think he is the knowledge base and type of person that should be on a commission. He has practical knowledge of construction and what planning and zoning is. Any personal vendetta or that Ms. Murphy might have against Mr. Case should be irrelevant here. He's knowledgeable, and like our attorney said, if there is a conflict, he would of course have to recuse himself out. But to say that he just needs to not put his talents to work, I think is doesn't benefit our community. I encourage Mr. Case to be appointed.
Okay.
If I might say, I also will agree with trustee Kozar. However, just to clarify, trustee Murphy did say that it was coming from residents, and she's merely relaying that message.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay. Clerk Konecki, can we have a vote?
Yes. Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Solella?
Yes.
Trustee, who did we miss here? Kumar?
Yes.
President Kazon?
Yes. I would like to also add that, as per the ordinance, as the liquor commissioner, I have appointed Al Balthus and Ray Rupp Search to the liquor commission, which does not require.
No, it doesn't. Our statute just says you have the
Yeah.
right to appoint.
Yeah, it doesn't require board approval, but just to let the board know that those are the two that will be, along with myself, be on the liquor commission. Okay, we go to 6A, proclamation from the Historical Preservation Commission, proclaiming Historical Preservation Month. And the proclamation reads, whereas, Yes, Preservation Matters is the theme for National Preservation Month, co-sponsored by the Villa Park Historical Preservation Commission and the Village of Villa Park, that celebrates and honors the past while looking forward toward the future. And whereas the Village of Villa Park recognizes and is proud to have 2 National Register properties, nearly 85 buildings that have been historically recognized, and 2 locally designated historic landmark business districts. And whereas it is important to celebrate the role of history in our lives and the contributions made by individuals who preserve the heritage that has shaped our village and us as people. And whereas historic preservation is an effective tool for revitalizing neighborhoods, fostering local pride, maintaining community character, managing growth, and sustaining development while enhancing livability. And whereas historic preservation encourages community reinvestment, saving resources and promoting socially and culturally rich communities. And whereas historic preservation fosters a culture of reuse and life cycle conservation, which is environmentally sustainable and economical, Now therefore, I, Nick Cazone, Village President of Villa Park, do recognize May 2021 as National Historic Preservation Month and proclaim May 2021 as Villa Park Historic Preservation Month, and call upon the people of Villa Park to join their fellow citizens across the United States in recognizing and participating in the special observance. And along that lines, we have some Historical Preservation Commission awards that are going to be issued here by Carol Marcus.
Thank you very much, and congratulations on your being president, and thank
Thank you.
you to the new trustees. And thank you very much for supporting historic preservation and our efforts at the Historical Society. We really appreciate it. And we've been celebrating historic preservations every day. We have a lot of visitors at the museum. They come in and get the walking map, and it tells about the local landmarks, including the Ovaltine Complex, which was a $40 million project in 2000, and I believe there was 350 buildings that were redeveloped, and was very good. So I'm here to present 3 awards this year. The first award goes to Eva Bricky. Now we're talking about going back 1930. Depression just hit. Villa Park did not have a lot of population. People were eager to get out of the city. They just got over the pandemic, and they were building in Villa Park. But they lost money, and Eva's house started in 1930, and the builder passed away while he was building it, and it didn't get complete until her father bought the house. So this is a 2-generation house. I'd like to present award to Eva Bricky for her 1930. Beautiful frame bungalow on South Riverside Drive. Thank you. Now we progress after World War II. And when the war ended, there was not housing anywhere. And Villa Park had a lot of land, and we needed to increase our population. So there was a lot of grants that were available to build new construction for the soldiers. And I want to present an award to Tim and Barbara Johnson for the wonderful house on 1014 South Summit Avenue. It's a very sturdy brick colonial house. Now this has a story to it too. It's the 2nd generation of family living there, and it looks identical to how it was built. The architect was A.L. Salzman in the north side, and he is very famous. He built a lot of churches, and he was the engineering firm that did the primary work on the Eisenhower Expressway. He built over 200 houses in Elmhurst and Villa Park at a time when materials was not available. So he got the job done on time, and it's called the Renberg House because Renberg was a subcontractor that built the house. He loved the house, and he bought the house, and he lived there for 10 years. And the Freaky family, Johnson family enjoyed living there. Yeah. Pardon me? Your parents bought it in, what was it, 86? You bought it in 86, 56. We got a picture of her when she was in grade school. I didn't want to embarrass her and show it to her, but it'll be at the museum. Now we move into the 50s. Ardmore, because of the railroad going through town, was the hub of the community as well as Villa Avenue. And we like our little business district, and I think community development did a lot to renovate both business districts. So I'm going to give an award to Joseph D. Antonis for his 1951 commercial building on Park Boulevard. Now this building was built by Dan Higgins. Now he owned Dan's Smoke Shop. Now this is before Al's Smoke Shop. And the interesting thing about him, he had polio and he was crippled, severely crippled. And he actually built this building with his family because they were in construction. And it became the Villa Park News Agency. And I'm sure that people, the elderly people in town probably were paper boys or girls in that era of town. So I'd like to present Joe his certificate. As I always say, every house that they can chalk, boy, can they chalk. And every history that I uncover is really precious to our heritage. And I think I'm very proud to live in Villa Park. It's the land of diverse housing. We've got Frank Lloyd Wright House here. We've got Mies van der Rohe Bank. We've got the Ovaltine factory. And we've got a lot of new construction too that we should be very proud of. Not every house can be saved. If it's deteriorated, you know, it maybe wasn't even built properly when it was built. But I want to say that it's a nice community. We have a variety of housing, and you know, I'm very proud to be here. And lastly, I'd like to invite everybody to our ice cream social at the museum on July 3rd, 7 o'clock. It's free. No competition, Jack, but I know that you'll get the overflow crowd. And we're going to have entertainment, hopefully vintage cars, and a few surprises. So
Great.
see you then. Thank you.
Thanks, Carol. And if you've never been to the museum, I recommend it. There's a lot of good history there. Carol does a nice job there. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to number 7, the consent agenda. Item 7A, minutes from the board meeting held on May 10th, 2021. And 7B, bill listings for the weeks of May 10th, 2021, May 17th, 2021, and May 24th, 2021, in the amount of $640,669.79. Do we have a motion?
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
Kevin Patrick, and a second?
I'll second.
Dave Solella, second. Any questions, comments?
Sorry.
Clerk Konecki.
Hey, Trustee Kozar,
Yes.
Trustee Kumar,
Yes.
Trustee Corkery,
Yes.
Trustee Murphy,
Yes.
Trustee Salella.
Yes.
Trustee Patrick,
Yes.
President Kazone.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to the first reading on ordinances to be codified. Item 8A, an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending the village code regarding membership of the Community Pride Commission.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Community Pride Commission's intent and purpose is to advise the village president and the board of trustees on matters relating to the overall image of the village, including physical beautification, public relations, and coordination and promotion of volunteers and volunteerism within the village. The commission currently has only 4 members, including the chairperson. Due to difficulty finding volunteers to fill commission memberships, the Community Pride Commission is requesting to reduce the commission's membership from 11 to 5 members. This reduction will make it easier to obtain a member quorum, which is needed to conduct commission business. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. As this is first reading, it's discussion only unless someone wants to.
Yes, I'd like to, if I could, make a motion that we forego and do this all in one motion.
Okay. We have a
Mr.
motion and a
President,
second?
I'd like to
Kevin
second
Patrick,
that.
second? Okay. So we have a
Roll
motion.
call on waiving.
Okay. We have a roll call of waiving the second reading.
Correct.
Okay, Trustee Salella,
Yes.
Trustee Corkery,
Yes.
Trustee Kozar,
Yes.
Trustee Kumar,
Yes.
Trustee Murphy,
Yes.
Trustee Patrick,
Yes.
President Kazone.
Yes. Okay, and then we'll have a vote on the ordinance itself. Clerk Konecki.
Okay.
Motion.
We need a
and
motion
second.
first.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, we need a motion now to approve it.
Mr.
Kevin
President, I'd like to
Patrick.
make that motion to approve it.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Jack Corkery, second. Okay, any questions, comments? Okay, now we'll do it.
Okay, Trustee Salella,
Yes.
Trustee Kozar,
Yes.
Trustee Kumar,
Yes.
Trustee Murphy,
Yes.
Trustee Patrick,
Yes.
Trustee Corkery,
Yes.
President Kazone.
Yes.
Yeah, these are rolling ordinances, they're not, these are not first readings.
Okay, so we will move on to ordinances, section 9A. Ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, annexing PIN number 0603107006 located at 17W 479 Manor Lane, rezoning of pin 0603107006 from DuPage County zoning in the R4 district to the Villa Park M1 Light Industrial District. Consolidation to one lot and a special use to allow outdoor equipment and material storage. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The village received a request from a property owner located on Manor Lane seeking annexation into Villa Park. This annexation includes a request to consolidate lots into one, a request to rezone a .79 acre parcel on the south side of Manor Lane west of Villa Avenue from R4 in unincorporated DuPage County to M1 within Villa Park, and a request for a special use to allow outdoor equipment and material storage. The petitioner purchased this property with the intent to relocate a concrete business to this location and construct a new building for the business. This item satisfies the long-term routine strategic plan goal, explore, evaluate, and determine board policy on annexation of unincorporated areas. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Okay, do we have a motion on this?
I'll make the motion.
Christine Murphy, first one. We have a second?
Mr. President, I'll make the second.
Trustee Patrick? Okay. Obviously, we have the petitioner here.
Excuse me. Good evening. I'm Michael Kanuka. I'm the attorney for Ruben and Leticia Valdez, who is our present open court. They are the owners of RJ Concrete, the R4 parcel in question. The property in question is 17 West 479 Manor Lane. The north part of the parcel is already in Villa Park and is zoned M1. The south part of the parcel has a house which will be torn down and is zoned R4. The background of this is the Villa Park enacted the 2009 Comprehensive Development Plan, which this property is in. The property is designated as commercial. It was planned to annex the property in the future. 90% of the properties around the area are already zoned M1 light industrial, and the remaining properties are zoned mixed use or PUD. In review of the county records, it revealed the zoning relief for the property owners in this subdivision area to redevelop from single family to residential to industrial. These properties were rezoned and then annexed into Villa Park and are now M1. Just briefly, and I know I have a time limit, so I will try to not use the attorney time limit type of thing. The Valdezes spoke in 2018 to Pat Grilla, who was then the Director of Community Development. They were told at that time the city planned to annex this property and it was in your comprehensive plan. As a result, they purchased the property for their concrete business. But please remember, this is a seasonal business. This is not a all year round business. The business plan is the trucks and equipment are to be stored in the facility, which is to be built. The hours, and this has come up with the Plan Commission, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday to Friday and 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday. However, this is kind of misleading because employees arrive at 6 a.m., park their personal vehicles in their allotted spots, which has already been taken care of in M1 zoning lot. The trucks would then leave by 6:15 to 6:30 to go to the work sites. There is no work done on the facility property, which is the M1 at this time, except maybe to load some dirt or gravel, which is one of the requests that we have. And then they have a garbage pickup. One of the things that was not done when it went to the Plan Commission was not informed that this property is in the Route 83 land use plan study, which was signed off by Villa Park, Elmhurst, and Lombard, and it was areas for commercial use. And this property's use is consistent with the Villa Park Comprehensive Plan. And it also encompasses the Villa Park main transportation corridor, which is to have manufacturing, light industry, warehouse, and distribution in this area. As the property around this area already has significant commercial property in the west end and surrounding areas, and this is a property that's land use transition. The neighborhood now has several vacant lots on the north, I'm going to speak specifically to the north side of Manor Lane. And it has vacant lots. There are 2 single-family residents, the subject property, which there is nobody in right now, and my clients, as to show a good faith, have applied for a demolition permit from DuPage County, but they're holding it up, kind of waiting for what this board's going to do. And to the west of them, they have the storage facility, which is already commercial. Companies that are already in the area, RB Construction, Instruct Paving, there is Rachel Mendez has an irrigation business, which she uses her office as a second place. There is a landscaping company, there's a tree removal company, a concrete masonry company, and of course on Villa and Manor Lane, which I know has caused some problems, Schroeder Trucking. We are not Schroeder Trucking, and I don't want this board to understand that we have anything to do with that. This is not, we want to work with the residents, with the village. And that's why if in the plans that were done, there is a complete development plan. The office and the facility that's in back is made to fit in with the neighborhood. In addition, my client, if this is approved, plans to bring sewer and water into this area, right down Manor Lane, with a 20-year recapture agreement. This will service all the peoples that want to sign up for that. The office building is set up to blend in with the neighborhood. The storage facility is to take care of any of the other trucks and equipment so they can be kept out of sight. There is a designated parking areas, including handicap. They have agreed to substantial screening, including fencing and trees. And as I said before, there's little noise and no smoke problems from diesel trucks or anything. Well, they do have trucks there. They're not running there. They basically, they get up in the morning, they're gone. As they say, there's no loud work that you would hear in a normal area. And it's the idea, because the trucks are loaded, they are going to be in the facility. The rezoning and annexation based on historical data increases the value of the surrounding property. If this, village, would annex the north side of Manor Lane, that would give the village control over traffic enforcement and control over ingress and egress. As of this time right now, the county requires a one-way in and one-way out. But there is issues that could be resolved by putting this in. We're asking the board to approve the ordinance and the special use, and I think I did my 3 minutes.
All right, thank you. Okay, do we have any questions?
I just have one.
We need a motion.
Oh,
and a
I'm sorry.
second.
We need a motion on this. I'm sorry.
And then discussion.
Oh, we already.
Oh, we already
did.
did.
Okay,
Okay, that's right.
yes.
We already, yeah, we
Apologize.
heard it,
I
yeah.
apologize.
Just one question. We heard and outlined today's event
Yes.
with truck traffic and whatnot. It seems like there's going to be a fleet of trucks here. Is the maintenance of these vehicles going to be performed on this property too? Which, in my mind, is almost a separate business.
No, the maintenance is always done, if there's any minor maintenance, would be inside the facility itself. I don't know what the packet that was given to you, I do have it here. The facility is behind the office space itself. I'll call it a storage, I don't know how big it is. 5,000 square foot where everything is going to be stored, but the main work, if there's some type of thing, will be off-site. It's not going to be over there. That's why we're saying there's not going to be a lot of noise, a lot of.
Well, that's my
work.
concern. If you've got 20 or 25 trucks and
No.
you're trying to cut costs by doing your own maintenance, which is perfectly fine, there's noise
Yeah.
associated with diesel truck
We don't
repair.
have, my client would like 25 trucks, but he doesn't have that many.
well-
But he wants to be in Villa Park because this is right where everything is working.
I'm just looking at the long-term noise
Yeah.
back there. That's all I,
Okay.
thank you.
If there's anything else, I'll be happy to answer anything else that you may have.
I have a question. So it's my understanding, planning and zoning voted not to recommend that this go through.
That's correct.
Why
They
was
voted
that?
5-2.
What's that?
They voted 5-2 not to recommend this.
You know why they did not recommend it?
Can we call Phil?
Yes,
Yeah.
because there was additional information that the
Yeah.
ECP
Hey,
said.
what
but-
is
Okay.
that?
Can we have the chairman of the,
There you go.
clergy-
I thought it was me at first.
Consuelo, would you like to come up?
If I may say one thing, one of the things I had asked to send this back to Building and Zoning because much of the information about the Route 83 plan was not given to them, and they did not have the information about that study and how that affected traffic flow and the businesses in the area. I'm sorry. That's what I like.
Good evening. I could definitely speak to the subject request and the petitioner's request in this matter. This proposal predates my time here with the village, but as the petitioner mentioned, we're talking about two parcels here. One is in the village of Villa Park, which is the southern parcel, and the one in question to be annexed and rezoned and combined with that parcel to the south is located on the north side of the project area, which is Frontine Manor. From a land use perspective, the southern parcel is already zoned manufacturing, which is consistent with the remainder of the property that's in Villa Park. If you look at west and east of the property in Villa Park, it's zoned manufacturing. Like the petitioner mentioned, the building that they're proposing would be split up into two. The north end of that building would be the office space, and the south end would be the warehouse space, for lack of a better term, to store equipment and vehicles to be parked inside. There is some outdoor usage of the property on the south end of the parcel that the petitioner owns for storage of some material, for some employee parking, and truck parking. The DuPage County Corridor 83 plan does designate this area as other than residential. It did consult with the village back when Patrick Grill was the director, and their consensus is for it to be non-single family residential. I could answer any questions that anyone has on this request.
Well, I think the question was, why did planning and zoning vote against it?
Yeah, so there definitely had concerns based on the public input that we received from the residents in the area that live in unincorporated DuPage County. Did have concerns with the non-residential use of the property, truck traffic, noise, based on the outdoor storage as well. So they had concerns, and that, I believe, is why they recommended denial. But it was a 2-to-5 recommendation.
5-2 against.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Good, yeah, okay.
And so the residents nearby are unincorporated, so do they have any recourse through the village if there becomes a problem with the property, with the noise?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Just because they're unincorporated, it does not deter them from submitting complaints or concerns to the department, and the public hearing did definitely include them, even though they're unincorporated DuPage. So it does not exclude them.
And I know the property owner developer said they've agreed to put up a lot of like fences, screens, ways to prevent it.
Correct.
Does the village have any way to make sure that that happens?
Absolutely,
For that?
absolutely. So as part of the ordinance that's before you, there could be a added condition of approval. The plans do show landscaping and a fence that they're proposing to install, and the petitioner could definitely clarify if they're still moving forward with that or not. They could spruce up the landscape or any additional items. The board is within their purview to add above and beyond what they would like to see.
Sure. Gonna make a motion to include
Well, no,
that?
we continue, Kevin, any? Christine?
Yes, do we have the flexibility to coordinate some type of meeting or with the residents and the business? I'm not adverse to what the business is hoping to accomplish, but it sounds like the commission has received some negative feedback from the residents. Is there any way to appease everyone and come up with a happy compromise so that they can move forward and the residents will still feel confident with the direction we've gone in?
If I think I can answer at least part of your question.
Thank you.
part of the problem you have on Villa and Manor is Schroeder Trucking. They own 3 lots over there. The residents down there are 2 other houses that are on the north side of Manor Lane besides ours. Schroeder Trucking, I won't say there's a war, but there's some very bad feelings about that. That was one of the things my client did not want to do. That's why we had agreed to bring the sewer and water to help the residents, to help their property values. That's why we also put up a 5,000 square foot facility so that any noise would be minimal. One of the questions, I know I saw some looks, outdoor storage. Well, the outdoor storage you have is, if you look on the plan, gravel or dirt that they have to use when you're doing the concrete construction. This isn't any type of, major, stockpiles or anything, and it's stuff that just goes into one of the trucks and it's gone. And my client wants to work, and that's why they have agreed, even before coming here, to do the demolition. That was one of the questions the residents didn't like, was that the building was not torn down. It's not being used. But we have applied for that, but like I say, it's kind of in stasis right now, waiting to see how this board acts. I know I've talked personally to Paul Haas and Jim Strand from the county department. They believe this whole subdivision should be part of Villa Park, but at the very least, they're looking at the north side of Manor Lane because of the uniqueness of having, like this lot, the south side of this lot being residential and the north side being commercial.
No, that's reversed. This is the south side of Manor.
Yes, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
okay, yeah, that's okay. The north part of this parcel is unincorporated. The south part is part of Villa Park.
So, and we've had, and the county recognizes this, and one of the issues is the county can't really do anything. That's why they want Villa Park to have control over this. And I don't want to say this, but I know that to be a fact because I'm the county hearing officer. And this has come up on numerous occasions. So they want to, make the residents as happy as possible, but yet have control over what is happening there, including noise, fumes, noxious smoke. And this won't have that because the work and it's not being done there. I think the question about the maintenance was a very good one. That they're not doing that there. I mean, basically, as I said, the employees get in and by 6:30 they're gone because they have to be on a job site at 7. And you don't really see them until the end of the day. And then from basically November, December until March, April, there's nothing going on at all. So if there's any other questions?
Anything else?
I have one more for Consuelo, but let Jack go.
No, go ahead.
Thank you. Based on the conversation that we're having, it sounds like there are perhaps some other mitigating circumstances in that area that are being caused by an alternative company. And I'm wondering if that's the basis for the decision for the residents being adverse to doing this. And if we were to move forward with doing it and find that the people here today are in total compliance, but yet the alternative company continues to do things that are making the residents unhappy, are we going to be any further along than we are right now? I mean, it's very challenging as a board member to take a directive to say, no, we don't want to do this, and we're basing it on perhaps some things that this other alternative company is doing. Do you have any insight perhaps from any of the residents who provided information that suggested they're concerned about these people doing the same thing the other ones did, or they're not happy with the other ones? Do you kind of understand where I'm going?
I believe so. I can't speak for the residents, but based on the feedback we received from the residents on this case, the concerns have to do with the subject property. I will say that any complaints that our department receives, community development regarding truck or activities and uses on adjacent parcels, we would respond to it, like, no different, like, if we receive a complaint on any other property, right? In this case, it's an industrial property, and we would have to adhere to the codes as it relates to that zoning of that property and that use.
Anything else, Trustee Murphy?
Just one other thing, and that's, I think you just kind of hit on it, it's what other alternative uses would there be for that property? Because for us to defer this and say, no, we're not going to do this, then what alternatives might there be for the use of that property, and how would the resident, obviously we can't again predict how the residents will feel about it, but we also don't own that property, someone else owns it, so they could potentially have other alternative uses for that property that could end up moving forward at another time.
As it relates to the northern parcel, that's unincorporated. So I would have to defer to the county in terms of what other uses could go on that property, because as is today, it's not under our jurisdiction, it's not under our zoning. The petitioner's proposal is to bring it into the Villa Park and propose a M1, which is consistent with what is already in Villa Park, south of it.
But the petitioner does own that property.
Correct.
Thank you.
Trustee Kozar.
Maybe somebody on the board can direct me. There's 12 attachments to this. Can you direct me to the transcript from P&Z?
It's not here. You haven't included the transcript in the...
I'm sorry?
It's not on.
I do not believe the transcript was included in the packet. Am I correct? Consuelo, did you include the transcript in the packet?
It should have been. It should have been in the packet. I don't have the item for me.
I don't have it. I didn't.
Oh, it's in the,
Yeah, I don't think it was on
I
there.
wasn't able to find it.
It wasn't in the packet.
I have it up, Consuelo, if you want to just take a look at my screen, maybe you can point to where it is.
I don't have it. It wasn't in the packet.
I did see it like 2
While Consuelo's doing that, just, I can inform the board, I have obtained transcripts from the Schroeder, the 3 lots on Schroeder, and the village residents as to that parcel were very adamant about their position about the Schroeder trucking. So I will make that statement based on my reading of the transcripts from the planning and zoning. That's on 411. That would be the corner of Ardmore and Villa, excuse me, Villa Manor Lane.
This is a one and done, right? It's not a two-part reading?
Correct.
First and second?
Correct.
Right.
All right.
We can table it too, if need be.
So it appears that the transcript from planning and zoning was not attached to our packet. Perhaps Mr. Schlinsky?
I have the transcripts with me.
Great. I'm sure they'll provide them electronically too.
Whatever you want, I brought it in case anything
Sure.
you wanted.
Is it,
So this packet is very confusing. This memo is very confusing. And it starts off, who wrote the, like, whose memo is this? Is this just, Consuelo, do you speak to the memo?
I'm sorry.
So as Director of Community Development, I review it internally with village departments. I compile the staff recommendation, which is the report.
So what's confusing to me is that it says on January 14th, there was a public hearing from P&Z. A 2 to 5 recommended approval of the request that the site develop per the engineering drawings in substantial compliance with the engineering drawings and the structural layout, so on and so forth. And a finding of facts that such special uses meets the standards enumerated, so on and so forth. That seems very positive that planning and zoning reviewed this and voted to it. So if I were to skim this memo and defer to the commission and say, well, the commission fully vetted this, I would have jumped to the assumption that P&Z recommended this, when in fact it's 2 to 5, and then on the last page it's 5 negative and 2 yes, which is what I think Mr. Schlinsky was alluding to when he came up in public comments. So since I don't have the transcript, could I invite Mr. Schlinsky up just to give me a 1-minute summary of what the general consensus of the board was and why they voted in the negative?
Sure.
If the board would have us.
Yeah, come on.
Once again, Justin Schlensky, 436 North Fulton. With me is Commissioner Mike Orlowski, also on Planning and Zoning. So appreciate Mr. Kozar for inviting us up. With regards to the reasons that we voted 5-2, this was perhaps one of the most heated, if not the most heated, debates that Planning and Zoning has had, at least during my tenure. The numerous residents that came out were extremely vocal in their disdain for the petitioner and the actions that have occurred on the property and in the surrounding properties, meaning the neighboring east and west properties, along with the north side of Manor Lane. The trucking itself was, again, this is all just allegations and indications from the residents themselves, has become a little bit out of hand, where there were verbal altercations between the petitioner and or petitioner's family and truckers or employees and the residents to the surrounding communities. In addition, as for any indication of a Schroeder trucking, I don't really believe that that was as vetted or discussed as council might have alluded to. While I cannot make any further recommendations at this time, formally, I think informally, it would be highly recommended for you to table and or have a second reading on this to digest the transcript and have everyone very much vet that transcript thoroughly, and if not, possibly publicize, just as you would any other board meeting, to invite the residential homeowners that neighbor the petitioner's property for a larger, more inclusive hearing to this effect.
I would agree with that.
But they've already had their say at P and Z.
They have their say at Planning and Zoning, but obviously there's nothing to prohibit them from attending another hearing before the board as you stand.
We wouldn't have a hearing on it, but the transcript would give the information, just as you're stating.
Fair enough. You might not have a formal hearing,
we've had
but
the hearing.
you could have additional residential input for agenda item comment from the residents that
Sure.
directly
I
neighbor.
was just kind of interested in your summation of it, so, of the meeting. So I think combined with the transcript, that helps me understand kind of what transpired.
Glad to help.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I have a question. Is it possible, it seems like it's a first reading, you cannot table this. So what are your options?
This is
for
not a
that?
first reading. but
No,
we
I mean,
can't-
it's a second reading,
This
it's
is-
a
it's a
one
sec-
and done.
Correct, but
So,
we can't table it. If the board wants, we can table it.
What are our options on this, and what are, I'm asking Kathy.
Your options are three. You can vote yes, you can vote no, you can make a motion to table. If you make a motion to table and it is seconded, there's no further discussion on it, and I would suggest that you make a motion to table to a date certain, so that the board members, you, will know when it will be before you again for consideration.
For, excuse me, Consuela. Hearing that there's animosity with other businesses in the area, are we doing anything currently with code enforcement to address these current conditions that are basing negative feedback from this new business from coming in? Is there any pending litigation? Is there anything that we know of that we're doing as the village to correct that?
I can speak to, I know what I've been doing. When we receive complaints regarding some of the adjacent communities, some of the adjacent businesses unincorporated or in the village that have been traversing the road, that road is not within our jurisdiction, so I have myself deferred some of the complaints to the county for DuPage. So I know myself I've done that. If it's in Villa Park, we have, I don't believe we don't have anything active currently for any parcels, any complaints or any open cases. But definitely the truck traversing Manor Lane, I myself have contacted the county for that. So very limited in that we don't, that's not a road. So we don't have jurisdiction over that road.
I just wondered if there is any entity addressing any issues that we're hearing about from residents that's pending, that's drawing so much dislike to this project, is what I'm trying to get at. I mean, if there's something there and we're not taking care of it legally, why not?
Yeah, I'm not aware of anything that's pending, that's outstanding.
I'd like to ask something. As far as information from the county, what information do you have from the county with regards to complaints on this property and neighboring properties?
So in your packets, there's a memo from the county, and and the applicant could speak to it. He did provide a memo that he acquired from the county, and I believe that's item 3 as it relates to some of the county information.
Okay. I see it.
It's page 3.
Trustee Kozar.
She's looking at that. You had mentioned the Route 83 land study,
The Route
and that
80
you had asked to go back to P and Z to present that?
Yes, they
Was that
Excuse me.
your responsibility to put forth that 83 land study, or the villages to provide it for you?
I was not at the hearing with planning and zoning. So if I was there, I would have brought that up. The Route 83 came from the county. The county asked to bring that back to the village to present it, to show that this property and the properties north of Manor Lane are in the businesses and in the truck traffic in the Route 83 study. And that has been agreed upon and signed off. I think Mr. Haas told me it's supposed to be finalized in July. I think the final version, it's done, but I don't understand the process of there. But that's what was done before, because that was not brought up. Now, and like I say, I wasn't there. Some of the questions that
That's
were
fine.
said, I questioned some of my client did not have me there and and some of the statements there were totally outlandish, but that's what happens in planning and zoning meetings. I've been there before, I've run them before, so, I can understand. But the idea is, the one residence that was right next door to this property.
This is part of that Route 83 land study?
Oh, no,
Okay,
that's not.
that was my only question.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, yeah.
And then.
But that was
Fitzway Road-
received from the county
Do
itself.
you have a copy of that? Okay. I don't need it now, just, you could forward that?
The county's memo does include the page that covers that area as an exhibit.
Mhm.
And that's included in your packet.
That's what you're referring to. Got it. Okay. Read it. Yep.
There's like a 4-page exhibit that.
Sure.
the county sent over.
And then just my last question was, is there a benefit of like tax revenue by annexing this property?
Yes, there will be,
For the
because there'll
village,
be a better
for
improvement.
the village it is.
And do you have an idea what that annual tax revenue would be?
At this time, no, I have not done the calculations. I don't want to mislead anybody by saying it is, but it'll be with the 5,000 square foot building, if you approve that, plus the office, we're looking, going from $2,000 or $3,000, probably close to 10 to 15.
Okay.
But that's just an estimate, so, but I can do
Sure.
the calculation.
Unofficial, right. Thank you.
Anything.
Nothing else.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes, do we have the option to make a motion to table this pending receipt of the P and Z transcripts?
Yes, we do.
I'd like to make that motion.
Mr. President, I'd like to second that.
Okay. Trustee Patrick, second it.
No discussion, roll call?
Let me just get my stuff here. Okay, roll call. Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Salella?
Can I ask a
Hey,
question?
Hang on,
No.
yeah, can I?
Motion to table, no
Okay.
discussion.
Okay.
Trustee Salella?
No.
I'm sorry.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
President Kazan?
Yes. Now, yeah.
Oh,
Can we, yeah.
the date certain would be upon
Yeah.
receipt of the transcript. We will assume next village board meeting, which would be June 14th.
Yes.
Thank you.
Can we assume that?
Thank you, trustee.
Yeah, can we just write that into the record? Do we have to vote on that again?
No,
Right.
no.
Okay.
I should have interrupted, but when he said
Yeah, I
upon
wrote it.
receipt of the
Yeah,
transfer, I just
Yeah,
assumed.
with the date, yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Village clerk.
Great, thank you.
I thank the board for their consideration, and if, like I say, I have transcripts of all the stuff going on,
Okay.
I'll be happy to provide them.
Okay, I'm sure they're lengthy and we'll want to read them.
Yeah, because, thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to item 9B, an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, establishing temporary executive order powers pursuant to Chapter 8, Article 3, Sections 8-301-308 of the Villa Park Municipal Code, 65 ILCS 511-1-6 of the Illinois Municipal Code, and 20 ILCS 3305-11 of the Illinois Emergency Management Act. This ordinance extends the temporary executive powers contained in Ordinance 4223, approved by the Village Board on May 10th, 2021, until such time that the Village Board can reconvene in an open meeting. And we have a motion on that.
Mr. President,
Trust-
I'd like to make that motion.
Trustee Patrick? Second?
Second.
Trustee Solello? Any comments or questions? Clerk, can I get a vote, please?
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Salella?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
President Kazan?
Yes.
Mr. President, may I address the board? We have been adopting this ordinance every single meeting since COVID. The law says, however, we can place this into our code book to state where there is a declaration of a disaster, that the village president automatically has those powers, but can only have them to the very next meeting of the village board, so that we would not have to do this at every meeting. It is something I do recommend, and it is something that, because of COVID, most municipalities have now included in their code book. It doesn't give the president one more power or any change in powers than what you did tonight. It would just mean you don't have to do this every week or every meeting. Do you find that satisfactory? If so, I will prepare it and present it to you for consideration at the next village board meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do we need a consensus on that?
I think I'm seeing nods good enough to propose.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, moving on to 9C, an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a zoning map amendment to mixed-use TOD district, MX-1, granting a special use for planned unit development and a plat vacation.
Thank you, Your Honor. The applicant is seeking to construct a high-quality mixed-use development consisting of 348 residential units, a residential amenity space, a ground floor commercial space, and approximately 442 parking spaces. In order to facilitate the proposed project, it will be necessary to acquire a portion of the existing Metro lot west of North Beverly and north of Terrace Street, owned by the village, and swap it with parcels the applicant is acquiring on the east side of Beverly to construct a public parking lot. The platification will permit the use of unneeded public right-of-way for the proposed development. This item satisfies the long-term complex strategic plan goal, foster the completion of a successful redevelopment in the entire TOD area. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. We have a motion on this. Anyone want to make a motion on this?
I will.
Trustee Corkery, you have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Trustee Kumar. Okay. Any questions or comments? Trustee Patrick.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, thank you all for coming out tonight. I really do appreciate and value your input on this. I think it's safe to say that every person in this room would like to see Villa Park succeed and develop, but in a good way. I do believe that the residents have not had an opportunity to express themselves outside of this meeting here. So going forward, I will not be voting in favor of this project until the residents have had an opportunity to have a formal Q&A with the developer. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any other comments, questions?
I have quite a few, if I could ask of with regards to some of the concerns I've already heard from the residents. According to many of the residents, stormwater retention is poor in this area and near the Garden Station development area. With the 85% maximum pervious cover extension, what assurance do the residents have that the building of this development will not overtax the present sewer system and lead to increased flooding in the near immediate area?
And obviously, we have a representative of the developer.
Thank you. My name is Mike Noonan. I'm a land use attorney along with my co-counsel Donna Pugh here of Foley and Lardner. We're at 321 North Clark Street, Suite 3000 in Chicago, for the record. With us today is the majority of our team, including Dr. Vish, who is the developer here. And I know we can answer your question about stormwater and sewage detention in greater detail as well, because our civil engineer is here as well. I was hoping you'd grant me just a moment to have Dr. Vish speak about the project in a broader sense, and we can drill down to those technical issues. Just briefly, a minute or two.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. This is Dr. Vish.
Thank you, Honorable President and respected members of the board. I heard the residents' concerns. I think in terms of addressing them, first of all, the people here should know a little bit about me. I have built about 4,000 units, and almost all of them are condos. Instinctively, I build condo quality. So some of the concerns that were expressed with respect to the quality of the residents staying here, etc., are, in my opinion, misplaced. Our project, just before that, some of our projects in downtown Chicago, which earned me the name of City Developer of the Year, 910 South Michigan Avenue, and the historic, this is a historic building. Also, Commodore Greenbrier, which is on Surf Street, we did a historic renovation of that building. I believe in preservation, protection, and renovation. And quality is absolutely paramount for our projects, and I build only condo quality. These are not apartment quality. Just in terms of amenities at our project, these have individual washers and dryers in the unit with either hardwood floor or LVTs, large swimming pool, an acre of open space where there will be cabanas and there will be barbecues. There is WeWork spaces, there is Amazon lockers, and you name it, the amenities in this project are phenomenal. These are condo quality amenities.
Excuse me,
Please.
Please.
So,
I'm the sergeant. I'm the sergeant at arms, please. Thank you very much.
So,
Thank you.
that's number one. Number two is that very much when I heard about the awards being given to preservation, I was very happy because I myself believe in preservation as exhibited by the two or three projects here. And also we are preserving and protecting the largest historic building in the state of Rhode Island and another large building in another town in Rhode Island. And we just got under the National Park Service approval for the most historic building in the state of Hawaii also. So my concern, my commitment to environment is something very, very paramount. Let me tell you a little bit about the building here in Villa Park. This building is going to be the nation's largest passive house building. What it means is that it will have, the passive house means health, comfort, and energy efficiency. Our contribution to carbon due to this building of massive size is zero. Zero. This is an all-electric building because I believe in the commitment to the environment. This is a building that will have very high marks for sustainability. What is meant by passive house is that health, comfort, and energy efficiency. The occupants will be exceptionally healthy because of continuous supply of fresh air. We don't do lip service to fresh air by saying, oh, here is a corridor and you saw the grill, that's your fresh air. No. Every living space in this building will have a continuous supply of fresh air, so people with allergies can live in our building very safely. Number one, health. Second is comfort. The passive house, you can stay in the middle of the room or you can stay by the window, and you will feel the temperature is the same. Window is not colder. So health, comfort, and finally energy efficiency. This is a net zero building, which means that we try to produce maximum energy at site, and anything that we are not able to produce, we are going to subscribe through community solar. The building will have solar panels on top. We are also trying to heat up the swimming pool by solar thermal panels. Solar PV will be on the roof, and this building will also have National Green Building Standards, gold standards. So this is going to set us apart completely, and this is I will not be surprised if it is written up all over for its commitment to sustainability. Number two, people did express some concern about some of the businesses here. I'm glad to tell you some of the businesses are going to be staying. They are signing up as tenants with us. So some of the long-term businesses are going to continue here. And there's going to be a restaurant, and people in today's world, they want to live and work and have some sort of a walking kind of situation. And believe me, and that is where the world is heading. I think the residents will be proud to be part of this community when this building is built. I think many of the concerns are due to a misunderstanding of what we are trying to do, and I'll be more than happy to answer the questions. Please, you are part of the community. We welcome you. So I'll be happy to talk after that.
Sir,
Okay, well, hang on, let's address the question about the stormwater.
I'd like to call up our civil engineer, Chris Lindy from Semcon Ltd.
Good evening. As mentioned, I'm Chris Lindley with Semcon. We're in Aurora. We are the consulting engineer for this development. I believe I can address both comment A and B from item 1 together. And the village has adopted a comprehensive stormwater ordinance that DuPage County has written. The village has amended it to make it more strict, and we have to follow that ordinance or we will not be allowed to develop this project. We have to get a permit, a stormwater management permit. It will be reviewed by the village. If it's adequate, which it will be, it can be approved by the village, and they will not be allowed to develop and make stormwater management issues worse for the property.
Trustee, go ahead.
Manager Keener, can you weigh in on the village's perspective with their current plan
In which aspect?
with regards to stormwater?
The village constructed a regional detention pond in that area some time ago, and Director Guerra can expand on the capacity of that detention basin.
Thank you, Your Honor. To expand on that project, as Manager Keener referenced, was called the Terrace Douglas Stormwater Detention Pond that was constructed on the west end of the Metro lot. Part of that project was for water quality, where there's plantings in the bottoms to kind of filter out a lot of the nutrients, or I'm sorry, to add nutrients, to filter out oils and all those undesirable qualities to improve the quality, water quality. At the time of construction, it was designed to incorporate the Metro parking lot, and then it was expanded to its largest capacity, which provided additional storage in that drainage basins. We've had numerous conversations with the engineers on the initial plans. Obviously, it's based on zoning and approval. We have final sets of drawings that would need to be reviewed. But the design of that pond was designed in such to allow for additional capacity for development over in this area. 2 pipes are designed to go, or they're already in the parking lot that go across to the site. And based on our initial reviews, the difference is about 11,000 square feet of additional impervious surface that will be incorporated. They do have some green aspects in the building, as stated, some green roofs, those sort of things to decrease the runoff. And we've calculated on an initial basis that there's enough storage in that pond to handle this development. And then those are directly, I think some of the sanitary sewer problems and issues would need to be reviewed. As there's kind of a combination of issues in that area as it relates to the sewers on Villa Avenue. But the stormwater aspect is separated, and it all will go to that detention pond.
If I could ask about the sewer separation of projects in that area, what is going to improve or not in that particular area? Is there anything going on that will improve? Because there seems to be a huge amount of flooding of many of the residents' homes in that area, which having been through flooding as a child close to Ardmore, it is a very passionate issue to me, and I would like to address that issue as well, because adding to the problem will not help.
Sure. Yeah, so currently, right now, out for bid is the Maple Area Improvements. The Maple Area Improvements is a combination sewer separation project that incorporates Summit, Maple, Division. There's another street in there I'm missing right now. And they all connect to North Villa Avenue sewer. There's several sewers that have been ran down North Villa. There's an overflow sewer that was incorporated to try to help this out. I don't know the time frame of that project. But that is still a combination sewer. So when it rains, both water and sewer go to North Villa, and it causes several issues of backing up on the sewers in Villa. These sanitary sewers in these neighborhoods connect to Villa as well. So by separating off that segment is the last segment that's in that drainage basin of pipes that is actually combination. So from there forward, here on forward from that project completion, all the sanitary sewers on that segment should be separated. So it should only be sanitary and not any stormwater other than infiltration, which we are working continuously every year to reduce.
Thank
you. Director Guerra, a quick question, a couple of questions while you're up here. That retention area by on the west end of the parking lot, has it ever flooded there? Has it ever filled with water?
Talking with staff, that's not my understanding. It has not.
Okay.
But due to my limited experience, that's all I have to rely on.
Okay. Excuse me.
Wait.
And then in this, and maybe it's a question, there's no on-site storage of stormwater in this project, correct?
No, well, there will be storm sewers surrounding the building.
But there's no storage.
But there is no on-site detention.
Right.
All of the detention requirements are satisfied in the basin to the east of the metro lot.
That was the question. Any other questions?
I've got
Trustee
comments.
Kater. Yeah.
Sir, first of all, I would like to commend you on your work, your previous work, and also this project, especially with trying to obtain the gold certification from the Green Council LEED certification. What a lot of people might not understand is that the LEED certification, especially the gold standard, it's an organization called Leadership in Energy and Design, LEED. And this is one of the most standard opportunities for a business or new design regarding sustainability and design. and to obtain a gold standard really says a lot. I really am glad that with your previous work and with this project that you are looking to obtain that certification. I have had experience myself in obtaining those certifications in other projects. It is definitely beneficial, not just to our community, but to our world as a whole. My question to you, sir, though, is would you be willing to have a public Q&A session for our residents to ask these questions that you can answer for them?
You mean in this meeting?
Outside of this meeting, so that way our residents can ask you those questions in particular.
It's your call. This is not a public hearing.
Yeah.
This is discussion of the board, and so it is definitely your determination if it should be tonight or a separate night. We have a lot
Yeah,
on
we've
the
got a
agenda.
lot on the agenda tonight. I would prefer doing this on a separate occasion. And possibly after the meeting, maybe we can figure out a time and a date to do that.
We would ask if the board would allow it tonight. That would be great, but I understand about the agenda. I've come through it myself.
If I might too, I apologize. What I'm asking here is an opportunity for transparency and to give our residents an opportunity to formulate questions for you, so that way they're not left in the dark, and that way they know the answers to the questions that they have.
Understood.
Yeah, there are many issues, and I think in this meeting, possibly, that we will not address all of the issues in an efficient manner for the residents. So I also feel that a Q&A session with the residents will be beneficial to both sets of individuals.
Anyone else?
I have a couple questions.
Sure.
So this project has been in development for, was it 2 years about? So it predates the coronavirus pandemic. Do you guys have any plans to address possibly ridership on the metro, commuting, people going to offices not being at the levels it was before Corona, maybe ever? Because I know personally, my mother works in an office. I have a lot of friends who work in offices downtown. And a lot of them have heard from their bosses that even once the pandemic has subsided, once this is all over, that they may stay remote working indefinitely. And do you have any plan for how that might impact demand for rentals in this building?
Sure, I'd like to have both the applicant and our traffic planner speak about those issues and talk about what we've done to prepare for that as well. So
Thank you.
I'm going to say something real quick, and then we'll have Justin come up.
I'll be real quick. All the predictions are that the current decrease in ridership is temporary, and once the enough people get vaccinated, it's going to be back up. And also one trend that is happening is that there is a lot of people who even work from home who were living in downtown or who have their offices in downtown want to live in the suburbs. If you look at the CBRE report, the suburban apartment complexes occupancy rates are way higher than the city occupancy rates. City occupancy rates went down to 85%, but the suburban occupancy rates, initially had a small dip, but they are caught up, and the trend is more like, yes, I have my job downtown, but I want to live in the suburb, close to a TOD, and I'm going to work from home. So we have designed the unit such that every single unit will have a separate work area, workstation within the unit itself. That's the trend that's going on.
Yeah, I think you covered the question there, so I'm going to have our traffic planner come up for that. Thank you.
I'll ask this one quickly too, because it was raised by a couple of people here. Why not condos? Why did you choose to do rentals for this property?
You're in the hot seat today.
If I can have 400 or 348 contracts today, yes, I'll do the condos. Put your deposit, sign the contract, we will just convert it to condos.
Now, this is a luxury development. Would you characterize it as a luxury development? There's a lot of amenities.
I would say, yeah, Class A.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Class A development.
And these, a lot of all the features inside, they'll be resident only, right? Most of this will not be accessible to the public?
The amenities?
Yes.
Yeah, the amenities are obviously enjoyed by the residents.
Sure. And do you know about what the rents will be for the units in this building?
We have not really finalized that, but, you know, we are going on the basis of the market study. It will be competitive.
You like a ballpark, maybe?
No, depending upon the square feet, etc., I would say if you have like maybe a 700 square feet apartment, maybe about $1,500, $1,600.
How many bedrooms is that?
One bedroom.
One bedroom?
Yeah. Some are two bedroom, 800 square feet, so somewhere in that range. So, I mean, I don't have the exact numbers, so
Sure.
don't quote me on this.
But it will be quite a bit higher than what's there now.
No, it is very much comparable to other first-class apartments in the area. So you look at Elmhurst, you look at Lombard, you look at Oakbrook Terrace.
Sure.
So we are in a competitive market, so we cannot charge more than what the competition will bear.
We are, but we are also not in Elmhurst or Lombard or Oakbrook Terrace.
Absolutely, and so our rents are lower than that, let me put it that way. So we wish we could charge those rents, Elmhurst rents.
Well, I was, actually, this is a question more for the staff, is that, so I know one of the ideas is that this will be bringing in, the hope is more development, more apartments, that's been stated. I was wondering if we're worried about displacing people, because, you know, I have some friends, I know a lot of people who live in that neighborhood who would not be able to afford those rents. And that's a concern that I have. I was wondering if anyone in the village staff could speak to that.
Village staff? to
Or
speak to that?
anyone in general. I suppose I'm making more of a comment. That's what it is.
Don't hold me to the rents, I could be wrong, I don't have the market report with me, so it's just, I mean, I'll be more than happy to look into it
I'm
and
sorry.
give you more accurate answers, so don't hold me to it.
Sir, what is your plan for security for the building? We have residents concerned about criminal activities and crime going up, and it only makes sense, more people, more opportunity for crime. What kind of safety features are built into your design?
This will be a highly secure building, we will have key fob entries, and you know, not everybody can get in. This is, even our elevator areas will be secured, and every floor we have, you know, secured. You can't really, not anybody can come in and press a button and go to 5th floor. It's not possible. So this is a heavily secured building.
Just have one more. Have you already acquired all the property? Is that all gone through?
We are under contract.
Okay.
If we're asking the questions, I have one more about traffic in the area. I do assume that at least on Beverly, that's where the exit is for much of the traffic. So you're going to go out of Beverly and onto Vermont and probably into Ardmore or shoot down Vermont into Villa Avenue for most of these residents. There will be concerns with traffic issues. Have you been working in any way, or has the village weighed in on how they're going to address those issues once these things are built?
I think it's better addressed by the traffic engineer.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me today. Justin Opitz with GHA. I'm a traffic planner, traffic engineer on the project. So right now we have our preliminary findings with our report that we are very confident will be confirmed by you guys, staff, as well as the public. We've looked at the 4 intersections surrounding the development, and we strongly believe that the site traffic can be readily accommodated by the existing network. Yes, it is true that a lot of the exiting traffic will be heading up Beverly and either heading west or east onto Vermont and then filtering out to Ardmore or Villa. But through our analysis, we found that there's, truly no significant delay due to relatively low volumes on Vermont. So traffic that is exiting from Beverly onto Vermont won't really have very much of an issue turning off. So, we don't expect any delays on Beverly where cars will be stacking up or anything to that nature.
Did you take into consideration peak hours at the train station?
Yes, so we, basically what we've done in our preliminary report here is we've incorporated pre-pandemic traffic volumes as well as ridership data from Metro from 2018. So we've incorporated that all into our existing volumes, which we counted this month in May, previously in May here. And even with those cars that were previously traveling on the road that are not now today, we don't expect any adverse impact from the site-generated trips. We do think that once people move into Garden Apartments, they'll very quickly learn the train schedules of Metro that is either departing in the morning or arriving in the afternoon, and likely try to schedule their trips around that. It would make sense if I lived there, and I knew a train was coming in at 4:40 every day and dropping off a bunch of people. If I was going to leave for the grocery store, I might leave a little bit earlier, a little bit after that.
The issue also of, since you're talking about traffic, parking, with your building, I do not see parking for visitors. That is a concern for me because what are they going to use to park? How are they going to park?
So I'm going to throw that over to our architect, Jake Jones, who's here. He's been working on the parking calculations for this one quite a bit and has a very good knowledge of the whole math there. So I'll let him talk.
Good evening. If you look at the plans that have been submitted, we show excess of about 80 parking spaces within the building if you use the ratio of 1 unit and 1 parking space, which is the industry standard that is out there. Villa Park's previous ordinance was a little more strenuous than that, and we still meet that requirement. Visitors to the residence will be issued passes to be able to park internally within the garages. As to reworking along Beverly, we now will have 19 parking spaces there that will still serve the retail space that is generated on the first floor.
Thank you.
Okay, I would just like to make actually one comment that, I know there's been a lot of opposition to this, but this similar plan was actually approved back in, what was it, 2017, 2016. However, this is actually a better development. I think it's a more quality construction. I think it's a better fit for the area too. That's just kind of my comment on that one.
Okay. Mr. President, I have a question for staff or for village attorney here. My idea is that I would like the residents to have input on this, or at least an opportunity for their answers or their questions to be answered. Are we allowed to table this until that takes place?
I would suggest that this be tabled to our next regular board meeting, and that in hopes that the discussion that you're asking for could occur sometime within that 2-week time period.
Is that something that we could make happen?
It'll be up to.
Would you be available within the next 2 weeks?
Actually, 3 weeks, because we have 3 weeks until the next meeting.
Thank you.
Yeah, we would be amenable to a question and answer session with the date certain decided tonight, just for predictability's sake, and so that all the residents here that are concerned are very, the limits of legal notice may not get to everybody who wants to hear about this, but if you're in this room, obviously you're invested and want to hear about it. So if we decide the date tonight, then everybody will know about it.
Well, I would suggest the week of June 7th, maybe the 8th, that Tuesday, which then would give you through the 14th. Would that be satisfactory to members of the board?
Yeah.
So the suggestion is we would need a motion to table to June 14th with the understanding that there would be a public hearing on June 8th.
Mr. President, I would like to make that, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Would it be possible for the board to accommodate a public hearing in the next week? Or,
Let us.
I'm just
I
asking.
I understand your delays with timing. However, our residents have the same issues as well. I think if we can at least give them at least that 3 weeks, the 2 to 3 weeks that we're talking about, I think that would be ideal.
And the reason I didn't suggest it is because of the holiday. And
Yes.
so people going away from the holiday would be
Understood.
criticized for utilizing a holiday week.
I didn't
That
even
was
think
the
of that.
only-
I'm sorry.
Right, that was the only reason I suggested what I did.
Okay.
Mr.
Trustee
President,
Patrick, yep.
I would like to make the motion of tabling this until
June 14th.
June 14th.
And-
Whereas we can have a public hearing for our residents to attend.
On June 8th?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, a second on that?
I'll second that.
There's a comment.
If we could get a date and time for that public hearing as part of the motion, that would be appreciated.
Well, who do
The
you call?
date
Who's that?
is June 8th.
June
The
8th.
time,
Stella? Okay, trustee Stella.
the time, members of this board,
June
would
8th.
6:30 or 7?
Is there any preference by the builder as well?
Do you have a preference?
7th, 6:30 or 7? 6 o'clock on the 7th.
6 o'clock
Yeah.
on June
Well,
8th.
it's 6
8th.
o'clock.
June 8th.
June 8th.
Okay.
That's a Tuesday.
And the location would be
Here.
Village Hall?
Here.
It's, the 8th is a Tuesday?
Tuesday,
Yes.
correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Raheem, hang on. Okay, roll call vote?
Yes, roll call, yes. Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Salella?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
President Kazal?
Yes.
I would recommend that there be one publication affirming this hearing on June 8th.
Yes.
And there'll be no individual notifications of adjoining properties. That has been received.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you. Thanks for your cooperation on that. Cooperation
Thank
on
you,
that.
everybody. Appreciate
it.
your
Yes,
time.
thank you.
Okay, let's move on to 9D,
Okay,
area oh, I'm sorry. Hard to take your thunder here.
Go ahead, Your Honor.
An ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving agreements to enforce use restrictions of parking areas. Manager Keenan.
Thank you, Your Honor. Area businesses located within the 100 to 200 block of North Avenue have consistently dealt with unlawful parking and loitering issues in this area. 6 local businesses requested assistance from the village through the establishment of an agreement allowing the village the authority to enforce use restrictions upon their property. This ordinance approves agreements between the village and 6 businesses to enforce use restrictions of parking areas as authorized by Chapter 11, Section 11-209 of the Illinois Vehicle Code, which authorizes and empowers any municipality to contract with any commercial and industrial facility, shopping center, or apartment complex to regulate the parking of vehicles and traffic at such areas. Staff recommends approval of this ordinance. This item satisfies the short-term routine strategic plan goal, continue to implement community policing strategies for challenged areas of the community, and to address general public safety models and crime abatement issues. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. We have a motion for this?
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
Trustee Patrick, we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Trustee Kumar? Any questions or comments? Seeing none, let's have a vote, please.
Okay, trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Salella?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
President Kazal?
Yes. Moving on to 9E, an ordinance amending Appendix C, zoning ordinance of the Village Municipal Code of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois. Manager Keenan.
Thank you, Your Honor. The proposed zoning text amendments are recommended to Appendix C of the Village Code. The text amendments are proposed to better clarify code requirements, address best practices and/or current development trends, including adding regulations concerning permanent outdoor storage containers. After performing a review and researching best practices, the Community Development Department is recommending the modifications. Village staff reviewed comments received and performed additional research, including looking at comparable communities, including Addison, Carroll Stream, and Lombard. The Planning and Zoning Commission discussed and provided feedback at the February 11th, 2021 and April 8th, 2021 public hearings. On the April 8th, 2021 public hearing, the Planning and Zoning Commission made some minor recommendations to the wording for accessory building structures and permanent storage containers, and unanimously recommended approval of the zoning code amendments with a 7-0 vote. This item satisfies the long-term strategic goal, engage and be proactive in regional planning efforts and activities. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay, do we have a motion on this?
Mr. President, I'll make that motion.
Trustee Patrick? Anyone second that?
I'll second.
Trustee Corkery? Any questions, comments?
So
Trustee
there's a
Kozar.
lot packed into this. And bringing this up at tonight's meeting when there's so much involved in this meeting, I think is too much too soon. We've got, this is, even just reading this, it seems like these should be broken up into individual components so that everybody can understand them and understand what it is that we're voting on and that we're changing here. That's point one. Point two is, prior to this, in discussions with the Director of Community Development, there was to be a public or a committee formed to review some of these ordinances and how they can be changed. To the best of my knowledge, that has not occurred. Is that right? You don't have to get up, just, was there a public community committee?
I'll be more than happy to address some of the comments raised here tonight. So there's no subcommittee. At one point, that was a question, should we pursue it via subcommittee? A lot of the items that are proposed here are cleanup items and or items that have been lingering in the community that I'm proposing some changes based on my research of other communities, based on approvals that have taken place that the board has approved. So for the sake of time, I am proposing to clean up some of the zoning items and make changes based on some of the approvals that the board has adopted.
Sure. But my point is just that there's been no public input on this.
Yes, there is.
It's been a public hearing. There has been a public hearing on this, as required by our code.
Through planning and zoning?
Yes, oh, yeah.
Right here. Let me see if I can find it here. Okay. I would like to make a motion that this proposed ordinance be tabled for, without a date certain, so that this can be looked at more specifically and see how this is going to affect. I actually, if I can ask one more question prior to making that motion, is there anybody pending, this would be directed to Consuelo, is there anybody who is either pending a permit or some other action that would be directly involved, benefit, this would become useful, something that is basically waiting in the queue for this this ordinance to be changed?
Nothing comes to mind. If you have any specific examples or addresses that I could respond to, but the proposed zoning text amendments are village-wide, so it'd be applicable to all
Sure.
village, whether it's, no, regardless of what type of land use it is.
Okay. The point of my question was just to see if there was a reason that this should move forward at a speed, a quick speed. If nobody's waiting for this to be passed, I don't see any harm in giving it just a little bit of due course, a little bit of due time to properly vet this. So I'll go back to my motion. that I'd like to make a motion just to table this so that we can have further review on each of the individual changes that we're having.
Is there a particular item that you would like to see addressed, or the entire ordinance, or the entire package?
Just the whole ordinance.
Because it,
as
again,
it's-
you know, it did go to planning and zoning in February and in April for public comment.
Well, 3 minutes of public comment. I mean, that's all anybody can do on an agenda item. If nobody is waiting for this to happen right away, because they're not waiting on a permit, they're not waiting to build something, they're not looking to put 2 gazebos in their backyards or something to that effect, I don't see the harm in just tabling it and even bringing it back up in a, you know, a relatively soon meeting. But there's a lot packed in here.
Mr. President, I'd like to second that motion.
Okay. We got a motion and a second. Any discussion on that?
Can't. No
Oh, the
discussion on a
okay,
motion
that's
to
right.
table.
Okay. All right, so we have a vote on tabling this with a no date.
Okay. Trustee Salella?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
No.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
No.
President Kazone?
No.
4-3.
Okay.
It was 4-3.
Table?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so we'll table that then to a meeting to be determined later.
Which means that before it can be brought back by to this board, there has to be on the agenda a motion to remove from the table, which postpones it further.
Okay. Okay, we'll go to resolutions. 10A, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a license agreement with School District 45 for portions of the North Yale Avenue and West Ridge Road public rights-of-way. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. School District 45 proposes to reconstruct the existing parking area at the North Elementary School partially located in the Ridge Road right-of-way. In addition, the village should build a parking lot in the Yale Avenue right-of-way to be used as school parking as part of the 2020 Yale Avenue Improvement Project. A license agreement would be needed to grant the school district permission for the proposed construction, maintenance, and continued use of the right-of-way for their parking needs. This item satisfies the long-term complex strategic plan goal, engage and be proactive in regional planning efforts and activities. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Manager. Okay, do we have a motion for this?
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
Trustee Patrick, a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Corkery? Any questions or discussion? Okay.
I have one.
Yep. Trustee Murphy?
Manager Keener, can you remind me, if you would, please, it's been a heavy agenda, what is the staff recommendation on this?
The staff may I, Your Honor?
Yep, go ahead. Sure.
Thank you. Staff recommendation is obviously to approve the resolution so they can use that for their parking.
Super, thank you.
Yeah. And just, this is similar to what we did with
Albright.
Albright School, similar to that.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a vote, please?
Trustee Salella?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
President Kazone?
Yes. Going on to 10B, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a final change order number 1 to the contract with A-Lamp Concrete Contractors, Inc. of Schaumburg, Illinois, for construction of the Yale Avenue Improvement Project, Plymouth to Ridge, for a net deduction in the amount of $32,184.85. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The village has a contract with A-Lamp Concrete Contractors, Inc. of Schaumburg, Illinois, in the amount of $964,900.80 for construction of the Yale Avenue Improvement Project, Plymouth to Ridge. Proposed final change order number 1 consists of the final balancing of contract quantities as measured in the field. The net amount of proposed final change order number 1 is a deduction in the amount of $32,184.85 for an adjusted final contract amount of $932,715 $1,022.95. Staff recommends approval of this change order. This item satisfies the short-term complex strategic plan goal, continue using an aggressive infrastructure replacement development plan that covers sewer, water main, streets, etc. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay, do we have a motion on this?
I'll make the motion.
Trustee Solella, there's a second. Trustee Patrick?
I'd like to
Any
second that.
questions, comments? Seeing none, can we have a vote, please?
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Salella?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
President Kazone?
Yes. Moving on to 10C, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving the purchase of 24 body-worn cameras, required accessories, and warranty. Trustee.
You promote me, Your Honor?
Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. Staff recommends the purchase of 24 WatchGuard Vista body-worn cameras, required accessories, and warranty from Motorola Solutions, also known as WatchGuard Video, located at 415 East Exchange Parkway, Allen, Texas. The total cost, including required accessories and warranty, is $46,423. The total purchase cost will be paid from the DUI Enforcement Fund 19-520-1-310. The Police Department has submitted a grant request in the amount of $10,000 to the Intergovernmental Risk Management Agency, also known as IRMA, for partial reimbursement of this purchase. The Police Department will also monitor future grants that may become available by the Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board. Illinois Public Act 101-0652 requires all police departments to implement body-worn cameras by January 1, 2025. This item satisfies the short-term routine strategic plan goals, explore opportunities and methods for maintaining staffing levels in the fire and police departments, and continue to implement and update the village's information technology plan, including enhancing the village's computer capacity, software and hardware to facilitate customer service and operational efficiency. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Do we have a motion for that?
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
Trustee Patrick?
I'll second.
Trustee Solella, any questions or comments? Oh, Trustee Solella.
Question, do we currently have cameras in the department being used?
Chief
Yes, we
Rivas.
do. We have in-car cameras, which is also WatchGuard, so this would be compatible with those cameras we currently have.
I guess, do we have any current personally worn cameras currently?
We do not. We beta tested 3 of them,
Okay.
and this is definitely the product to go with because of the compatibility with the current
Okay,
cameras
so
we have.
we're starting fresh. This is like a fresh batch, so we're not worrying about mix and matching and,
Yes, sir.
okay, that's all. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Roll call vote, please.
Okay, Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Salella?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
President Kazone?
Yes. Moving on to 10D, the resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a Metro coffee shop lease. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Marrakesh Express Cafe opened in November of 2019. By March 2020, the cafe ceased operation due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The current operator will be relocating and has found a successor to buy the business and equipment. The new operator, Ms. Emmon, is an artist and former art professor at Cairo University. She will continue to operate as the Marrakesh Express Cafe and to serve the commuters with pastries, snacks, coffee, cold sandwiches, and espresso beverages. The 2-year lease contains, among other items, monthly rent payments of $130. Hours of operation will be at a minimum 5 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Monday through Friday, and certain insurance coverages. This item satisfies the long-term complex strategic plan goal. Continue to follow a long-term master plan to fund all village needs. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Do we have a motion for this?
I'll make the motion.
Trustee Corkery?
I'll second.
Trustee Solella? Any questions or comments?
I just am wondering why it's a 2-year lease. Is that a common lease term?
Manager Keener?
Thank you, Your Honor. We wanted to allow them to be established, but yet not become burdensome if it did not work out?
I was going to suggest a one-year lease in this case because of possible development in that area.
I would think development in that area would help her, definitely. I would hope so, anyway.
It depends.
Yeah.
It depends, right? So.
You know, as train ridership goes up and, you know, if this development does go up.
I don't necessarily doubt that, but I just, you know, it gives a little flexibility to the owner. I don't know her personally.
Director Burke, did she request a 2-year lease, or was that already?
Oh, well, our tenant is here.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
Oh, good. Okay, even better. Sure, please.
Can we approach?
Yes.
Sure. Hi, my name is Ben Shep. I thank everyone here, and I love my city, my village of Villa Park. I've been here for 22 years, lived in this town, and I tell you the truth, I'm so humbled. I mean, by the fact that you know you do care, even if the business is so small. Okay. Now, when I open, I'm a chef. I'm a French chef, but when I opened, I had a 5-year lease. Okay. So unfortunately, with the pandemic, or fortunately, sometimes it depends how you look at it. I decided now to do something else. So I passed the business to Imam. I don't think you have to be concerned about the 2 years lease or 1 year lease. I don't think it's not that effect. But 2 years. The reason why it was 2 years is because that's what's probably left of my. Is that true, right? What left of my, no, it was not. It was not. We decided on 2 years from now on. But it usually is 5 years.
Okay.
Usually. And it's $130. I don't think you have to worry about them.
No, I'm not worried. I just want to give them flexibility in a pandemic situation. I just want to make sure they're comfortable and they stay comfortably in their business. 2 years, if they are good with it, I am good with it.
Okay. The other thing is my plans has changed. I mean, because I did Italian coffee there, Elise Coffee, which is like Starbucks of Europe. I did French croissants and stuff like that because I wanted that area to become a destination and for customers. But this is off records, please. I am going to Morocco, to South Spain and northern Morocco. Willowbrook High School is now offering online school for next year. I don't know if you knew that, but so I'm taking my son to learn Spanish and Arabic and French, and he's going to be studying at the beach. It's not cost a lot of money, trust me. But when I'm there, I hope to come and visit me.
Thank you very much allowing us to speak here. My wife will be running the business. I'll be help her out. And if you have any concern or any questions, please go ahead and ask us.
No, it's just I wanted to make sure the 2 year lease is fine.
2 years is fine, yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, we look forward to having you guys here.
Thank you very much. We look forward to see you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Okay, trustee Patrick,
Yes.
trustee Murphy,
Yes.
trustee Corkery,
Yes.
trustee Kozar,
Yes.
trustee Silella.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar,
Yes.
President Kazone.
Yes. Moving on to 10E, a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, opposing Senate Bill 2298, amending the Tax Increment Allocation Redevelopment Act of the Illinois Municipal Code. Andrew Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. Senator Ann Galipsy and co-sponsor Senator Melinda Bush are attempting to eliminate the effectiveness of the most important tool available to municipalities to enhance positive economic change. If passed, this bill would add 2 factors to the determination of blighted area for the designated improved area and removes or modifies various elements for the definition of blighted area and conservation area that greatly reduce the eligibility for many distressed areas. The bill also requires new development projects to be completed no later than the end of the 10th year after a TIF ordinance is adopted instead of 23 years. The reduction of years will reduce the life of a TIF district, which will prohibit new growth within municipalities. This item satisfies the long-term routine strategic plan goal continue the Economic Development Fund to assist, incentivize desirable, viable, aligned businesses opportunities in concert with the village's planning models and analysis. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. We have a motion for this.
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Murphy, we have a second?
I'll second that
Trustee
motion.
Kumar? I'd just like to ask one question. What is your fee, to the manager, is this something that has a good chance of passing, or do you think there's enough opposition to it?
There's a tremendous amount of opposition right now, and it's been tabled in committee.
Thank you.
That's what I heard from someone
Yeah.
at DuPage Mayors and Managers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good, thank you. Trustee Murphy?
I have a question. So am I correct in saying that the village and staff are recommending that we vote in favor of this?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Salella?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
No.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Komar?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
President Kazal?
Yes. We got to 10F, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, creating a retirement healthcare funding plan. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the International Association of Firefighters, also known as the IAFF, request assistance from the village in creating a retirement healthcare funding plan for their members. This Internal Revenue Code, IRC, Section 115 trust will be funded through employee payroll deductions and comp time buyback as defined within the labor agreement between the village and IAFF. This plan will allow plan members to save for costs associated with healthcare after retirement. This item satisfies the short-term routine strategic plan goal, explore opportunities and methods for maintaining staffing levels in the fire and police departments. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do we have motion for this? Trustee Murphy?
Motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Trustee Salella? Any questions or comments? Trustee Kozar?
Is there any addition of funds from, like, from Villa Park specific to this, or is it all from the employees?
Yeah, it's my understanding this is all employee funded.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Trustee Salella?
I'm not sure if this falls into the same category like IMRF, but there's tier 1, tier 2. Are all employees able to participate in this with contributions in comp time buyback? Or is it just a level of membership, time served, whatnot, that would allow you to be part of this? Like a newbie coming in, would he be able to?
It's mandatory. You want me to address it?
Just-
So-
Thank you, Your Honor. So, this particular health plan, 115 Trust, this is part of the labor negotiations that went on between the village and the IAFF, and this is one of their ways to help their members save for the cost of health insurance after retirement. So this plan is for their members, and the members can opt in right now. But after this is passed, if you opt in, you're in. If you opt out, you're out your whole career. Anyone hired after this is adopted is mandatory to go in. So when you look at the papers, it's the IAFF members and the deputy chief. So they'll be in forever, and then new employees coming in, it's mandatory.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Okay, Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Salella?
Yes.
President Kazal?
Yes. We're on to 11, motion to approve a 2-year agreement between the Village of Villa Park and the International Association of Firefighters, IAFF contract, that will be effective May 1st, 2021 through April 30th, 2023. And this satisfies the short-term routine strategic goal, explore opportunities and methods for maintaining staffing levels in the fire and police departments. We have a motion on this one?
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
Trustee Patrick, second.
I'll second.
Trustee Corkery, any questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Solella?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
President Kuzzo?
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to public comments on non-agenda items. Clerk Konecki, do we have anyone signed up?
Yes, I have someone. Let me see, we'll start with Robert Smith.
Good evening. Thanks for having me tonight. Robert Smith, 137 North Charles Avenue. Many of you know why I'm here tonight. I've been coming here since October, on and off. But for the benefit of the new board members, my issue has been in 2020, North Charles Avenue was scheduled to be replaced. What I call the deep dig. New pavement, curb gutter, water, sewer, and so on. It was part of the referendum that was passed back in 2015, 6 years ago. It was identified as one of the highest priorities, the biggest need, and it's been 6 years. We were told in 2020 it was going to go under construction. Without notice, we heard through back channels that it's been deferred, delayed. Well, that got us mobilized, and we came here to want our disappointment, our frustration. I've invited many of the board members to come out and walk the street with me. Literally walk it, not drive it, walk it, because there's a difference. And I'm extending that invitation to you guys that come knock on my door. I'm retired, both of us are, so we're home all day between now and maybe the weekend. And we'll take a quick walk and talk, 30, 40 minutes, up and down the street. You make the judgment of why we're upset. So 6 weeks ago, I came here, asked for some communication. Where do we stand? I've read on your websites a lot of to be determined, this is in the process, but no timelines, nothing. So 6 weeks ago, I specifically asked a communication be sent out to our street. I got cricket chirps, nothing, 6 weeks. And what would it take to get a letter out giving us a status report? So we're asking again tonight because, you know, we came here, our neighbors are asking, and now we're going to mobilize again to come at the next meeting. Now, we had 17 people here last time. There's more interest in it now. We don't want to do it. A simple letter doesn't have to result in packed room. We want to know when the street's going to get done. Okay? That's the bottom line. On a bigger issue, after tonight, if tonight isn't telling of the issues this board is facing, you got real problems because your community outreach is poor. Communication, almost non-existent. Community engagement is laughable. It really is. I worked in Winnetka. I did master planning. And I'll tell you what, this would have never passed. This would have been a non-starter. This building, 8 stories, and the way the public was engaged, notified, and then you're going to hold one meeting just for a question and answers? You think that's going to do it? That's poor planning. That's poor leadership. That's poor government. Because what if the people can't make the 8th meeting? You know, what are they going to do? People work, schedules, whatever. That should be at least 2 meetings.
I'm gonna have to cut you off here.
Got
okay?
it, but you got the message.
But I will let you know, one of the reasons that nothing has been mentioned yet is, and correct me if I'm wrong, part of the plan, paying for that was either gonna come from an IEPA loan, but I think we're not gonna have to do that, correct?
You want me to go through a little bit?
Sure, yeah.
So staff has met time and time again, and we're going through an audit right now. And one of the most sticking points for this particular project is the water cost. And so right now, our surplus reserve funding in the water department is about $450,000. It's a little low, should be triple that. And so the plan from staff is, we're gonna go out to bid for this project probably, where are you, Mike, 2 weeks? in 2 weeks. And then when it comes back, the plan is to use part of the rescue funds from the federal government to cover the cost of the water so we don't drain the water department's surplus revenue. So, Your Honor, that's the plan.
Okay.
And to avoid the lengthy IEPA loan, which we wouldn't get it done this year if we went for a loan.
So,
Put it right and send it to us, please.
okay.
That's- That's all we ask.
Okay. We'll see about doing. Can you do that?
Sure.
Sure. Good. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, well, I also have Kelly Smith. Is it for the same thing? You're going to say the same thing?
Similar, just a different tax. I'm a little
Yeah.
bit more, not tactful, honey, sorry. Just again, the frustration and what you're facing is you had a room full of residents that knew nothing that was happening. And that's the frustration that your residents throughout the community face. We don't know anything. To show up, you're like, oh, we need to be at zoning. How would they know to be at the zoning committee? How? How do you know? Oh, look deep into the website and find out that there's this. That's not fair to the resident. You've got working. Serve your community is what we're looking at. Be transparent. We're hearing the word transparent. I know that was an item for the election. That's all we're asking for. Communicate. A year ago, April 20th, we were sent a letter. Nothing later. New residents are on that street. Are they going to tie in for the sewer and all that type of thing? Again, no communication. You're going out to bid in 2 weeks. Nobody knows anything about it. We've got new people. You've got a gentleman that moved into town, knows nothing about and how they were charged. There's so much frustration, and we know the beginning of the meeting starts with a prayer. Let's do this and work for our community. That's all we're asking for. We come and ask you to do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Mary Brunner, are you still here? Okay.
Yes, I'm here. Okay. Hi, I'm Mary Brunner. I live at 512 East Wildwood Avenue, and some of you recognize me, I'm sure, and some of you recognize me, I'm sure. What a barn burner tonight, huh? I'll tell you, I'm deathly sad that I missed all of these meetings for moving AK mulch down the end of Wildwood Avenue, because I tell you, I would have been standing up here giving you guys all of this information. Where was my meeting? I missed it. When did it happen? In 2020, the village forced AK Mulch to move its firewood and landscaping supply business from 110 Villa Avenue to 631 Wildwood. A 47-space parking lot was created on some of the evacuated land, and this parking lot is in a TIF district, number 4, St. Charles Road. The rest of that lot remains, I would say, blighted. Residents of this neighborhood woke up one day at 6:00 a.m. in the morning and with a flow of semis, Class C trucks, and landscaping trucks with trailers. As many as 64 an hour, I counted one day. This only created safety, traffic, noise, and air pollution problems on Wildwood Avenue and in the whole neighborhood. And it also fomented ill will between the neighborhood and AK Mulch, who had nothing to do with it. But of course, we don't like them. They caused this problem. This situation has done the exact opposite of fostering a supportive working relationship between residents, villagers, and businesses. Instead, it has created stress, anger, and lack of confidence in the system we expect to serve all of the village. At a Traffic and Safety Committee meeting on May 4th, a draft of an ordinance was introduced making Wildwood Avenue a truck route. What does that sound like to you? Hey, I live on a truck route. This would direct all the traffic down Wildwood Avenue, taking it off of Monterey and Oakland. So now all the semi-truck problems that are happening down on the corner of Wildwood and Monterey would also have to happen on the corner of Villa and Wildwood, one of the busiest streets in the city. It doesn't make sense to me. Where's my meeting? Where's my meeting on how this is going to happen? Ask yourself, how would you react if your residential street was turned into a truck route? along with all the problems I've already mentioned, I can imagine one of the first things you would say was, where's my property value going to go? I live on a truck route now. I have neighbors that have moved into their house 3 weeks ago, and I have already talked to them. Wow, look, those trucks. I didn't know those trucks were here. They're constant. The guy works from home.
We got the.
I will work as fast as I can. I have solutions for the problem. Move AK mulch, we just heard tonight. Hey, there might be some vacant lots on Manor Lane. Refurbish the sidewalks for wheelchair accessibility. Separate our sewers to mitigate the flooding we have at the end of the street. Replace the dead trees on the parkway to buffer the sound and the view of the trucks and to neutralize the odor they create. Reduce the speed limit to 20 miles per hour and paint the crosswalks on every intersection. Okay, limited time. If my phone number is on there, give me a call if you'd like to hear more about the problems in this situation. And I'm going to close with a fitting quote from Leslie Knope. Businesses are not allowed to dictate what a city needs. That power belongs to the people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kathy? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I would just like to address that comment just a little bit. I know AK Mulch has been working to mitigate as much as they can the traffic there. I just spoke to them actually today. They are changing their hours. They're closing at 4 o'clock instead of 4:30 during the week. They're closing at 12 on Saturday. And they're also not going to have semis on Saturdays because that's a busy traffic day. So they are trying to work with the residents. You know, it was something that the village kind of wanted them to do. So they are doing all they can. And they're telling their trucks that are going in and out of there to slow down. They've already refused service to one of their customers because the guy would not maintain the speed there. So they are working to try to help you guys out there. So,
Excuse me, President Cousin, can we request from that resident an email to the village with her recommendation? Would you be willing to send that over so that we can take a look at that?
Sure.
That would be very nice, thank you.
Okay.
Well, Kathy Halloran?
My name is Kathy Halloran, and I live at 538 East Wildwood Avenue, and I've been a resident for 21 years. I live down the street from Mary. I am baptized, May 24th, 1964, Immaculate Heart of Mary Church, 3834 North Spalding in Chicago. My baptism is a blessed day, and it defines me now. I am set apart by God for a purpose. I love Villa Park, my community. I love my neighbors. The greatest strength of Villa Park are the caring, friendly, down-to-earth, hardworking people. My hope is that the village truly starts to involve the residents. Trustee Patrick, I found your comments today refreshing. And Trustee Corkery, I found your questions refreshing. Trustee Kumar, I found your questions refreshing. Mr. Kozar, I found your questions refreshing. We need to involve the residents to make the Villa Park the garden village for everyone. And I'm going to give it everything that I have to make that happen. And the only way I can express myself, and I have to say it, I'm going to sing Bob Seger, Till It Shines, before you pass an ordinance outlawing singing. Take away my inhibitions. Take away my solitude. Fire me up with your resistance. Put me in the mood. Do 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 do. Storm the walls around this prison. Leave the inmates, free the guards. Deal me up another future from some brand new deck of cards. Do 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 do. Take the chip off of my shoulder. Smooth out all the lines. Take me out among the rustling pines. Da 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 till it shines. Do 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 do. Do do do. Do 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 do. Do do do. Like an echo down a canyon, never coming back as clear. Lately I just judge the distance, not the words I hear. I've been too long on this island. I've been far too long alone. I've been too long without summer in this winter home. Still, if we can make the effort, if we take the time, maybe we can leave this much behind.
Okay, we're going to have to
Till it
kind of cut this off,
shines.
please. Thank you.
Okay, I've got Chris Dieterich next. I don't know if he's still here. or
Chris
not.
Dieterich?
Okay, he probably left. How about Maggie Oberst? That's my last person.
Okay.
Good evening. My name's Maggie Oberst. I'm a new resident of Villa Park. I just moved here a few weeks ago. I'm very excited to be part of your town. I do have, I just heard the news of the tragedy last night, and I would like to ask for a statement from the board and see what this town stands for and how we are going to respond as a community to such a tragedy of such a loss of such a young life. It's my understanding that she was living in a halfway house. She was not armed with any actually harmful weapons. And I just have some questions on what we're going to do in making sure our police have proper de-escalation techniques so that we don't have something like this ever happen again. So as just a new resident, I love this town very much. I look forward to growing a life here, but I do have some concerns in knowing what we can do going forward as a community, make sure it's safer for vulnerable youth. Thank you.
That's it? Okay. Okay, we thank you for your comments. Village Clerk's report.
No report tonight.
Okay, Village Trustees report. We'll start on my right here. Trustee Corkery.
I actually was planning to talk about what Maggie brought up, is that I woke up this morning to the news that a young woman was shot and killed by police here in Villa Park. It's a terrible tragedy. She was a member of our community. And I'd just like to say, send condolences and love to the family, and hope that we can work together as a town to make sure that a tragedy like this never, ever happens here again. It's very shocking, and I do not want to see it repeated. Thank you.
Okay. Trustee Patrick.
Thank you. Mrs. Obers, I appreciate you bringing that up. You know, after every meeting here, I like to make an attempt to thank our police and firefighters, our first responders, for everything that they do out there. I think it's very important that we realize that though this might be a paying job for our first responders, that every day that they put on this uniform, they don't know what they're going to be expecting every day at work. I agree that we need to make sure that we equip and supply our first responders with as much information, training, equipment as we possibly can to help prevent things like this happening again. And I will continue to always thank our first responders, our police departments, and our firefighters for putting on the uniform every day and going to work with the uncertainty of not knowing what's going to happen next. I know our community values that. I value that. And I think that leads into another area that I would like to talk about. You know, we've had a very rough couple of years for everybody, not just individuals, not just law enforcement, first responders, but for everybody. And it makes me think of our mental health. And I know that we've talked about this previous meetings, but it is so important that if anybody is out there experiencing any kind of depression, dilemmas, or whatsoever, there is help out there. The National Suicide Prevention Hotline is 1-800-273-8255. those people have the resources and the abilities to help you with your problems, whatever they might be, or at least be a guide to help you overcome those feelings that you have. If you are not comfortable with talking to a random stranger on a hotline, call anybody, call a friend, call me. My phone number is 630-336-6544. It is very important that you come and you ask for help if you need it, and people will give it to you. They are there for you. And this goes for our first responders as well, because they are subjected to seeing this on a daily basis, more so than what your typical resident might as well. So if you're watching out there right now, or you are our first responders, if any of this is resonating with you, if you have any of these feelings or doubt, please call that number. Please call me, please call anybody and talk it out. It is very, very important. And I appreciate you bringing that up. So thank you, and that's all I have.
Yeah, thank you. Trustee Solano.
I'd like to echo most of what Trustee Patrick just mentioned. And I also like to offer my condolences to the family and our police officers that were involved in this incident. It's a terrible loss for all, and my heart goes out for you. Thank you.
Okay. Trustee Kumar.
Yeah, I also would, I wish to offer my condolences to the family that was involved with this. I also would like to offer my condolences to the family and friends of Esmeralda De Luna, whose life ended too soon. And my heart goes out, especially for the 3 children left behind. And I pray with the blessings of their loving mother that they may never face such tragic circumstances again.
Thank you. Trustee Kozar.
I too will echo the condolences. I don't have all the facts to speak to it I think she just left, but to Maggie's request. But overall, generally, I mean, this was I think a very productive meeting. A lot of comments were made. A lot of people came, good involvement. That's so important that people come to these meetings and know what's going on, and that information is spread around and accurate information is spread around. So I think this is the start of a good run on this board. I think a lot of really intelligent, good quality comments were made. I think we're just starting to see what this board can do collectively and together. So I'm very encouraged, and thank you everybody up here, and thank you all those at home that have since left the meeting or are watching the meeting for all your participation. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Murphy.
Yes, thank you. I just have 2 quick things. I'm feeling like this is our first meeting subsequent to Spring Sweep. So I'd like to thank everyone that participated in Spring Sweep. It's always very popular with all of our residents. I've yet to hear the results regarding how many vehicles and so forth. Our last Spring Sweep was actually a fall sweep. So it wasn't all that terribly long ago, but we did have a lot of good representation from our residents. They just love to bring those electronic recycling things in, which is wonderful. But Spring Sweep is an enormous undertaking for the people that put that together. And I'd like to thank them especially, because until you get there at Spring Sweep and see all of these other vendors that have been invited to help us with extra things that we don't typically collect, like the shredding, the paint, the bicycles, that takes a lot of work and extra time by our people who are coordinating these efforts. So I'd like to thank them and all the participants. We do our best getting everybody down the street. I know sometimes it's a challenge, but we do our best with that limited block that we have. I also am hoping I have a positive update. I believe that during our last meeting, we had one of our young men, a youngster in high school that was undergoing a heart transplant. As we participated in our meeting, I would like to say, to the best of my knowledge, that person has now come home. So we would like to welcome Owen home and look forward to his speedy recovery, and we're all kind of anxious to give him our encouragement. We were hoping to do something special and have a parade. The timing was a little precarious, not knowing if/when he was coming and what we could actually facilitate. but it's my understanding it's just been perhaps 2 days, but he is now back at home, and we and his family, who is very, very tired, everyone's grateful to have him back.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. My report, I have a few things. As Trustee Murphy said, spring sweep was a fairly decent success. It was not as busy as the fall sweep that we had, but it was still pretty busy. I think Justin from Environmental Concerns Commission will attest to that. But right, just to let the ring. But a lot of thanks to Environmental Concerns and Community Pride Commission, which did a lot of hard work getting this organized, and it was very well received. So thank you, both of your commissions. And speaking of the commissions, the Community Pride Commission will be meeting tomorrow at 5 o'clock up here in the COW room. And the Environmental Concerns Commission will be meeting Thursday at 7 o'clock up here. And the Bike and Transit Subcommittee will be meeting at 6 o'clock on Thursday up here. And I know Community Pride is looking for a few commissioners. I think Environmental Concerns is pretty well set for as far as commissioners, but Community Pride can always use a few. Couple of things regarding summer activities. As a lot of you are aware, the VFW has decided not to do the 4th of July parade this year. This decision was made about 2 months ago when the COVID numbers were increasing. So the decision was made with the village to cancel it. Unfortunately, now that things are going down, it's kind of too late to get things organized. So hopefully next year we'll get it back. However, the Kiwanis concerts in the park in July will be going, starting the first Wednesday in August, or in July. And the concerts in the park in Cortese Park will be starting the first Thursday in August. And if you go to the village website, they'll have a listing of all the bands that will be playing. And one final thing, would just like on a happy note, our village manager, in a letter dated April 29, 2021, received from the Illinois Public Employer Labor Relations Association an award, the James Baird Leadership Award, in recognition of your dedication and commitment during COVID-19 for the Village of Villa Park as a labor relations professional and a member of IPELRA. And I know the manager and staff did a great job this past year with managing all the challenges of COVID-19, so congratulations. And with that, we'll go to the village manager's report.
Oh, sure, put me on the spot.
That's right.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just want to provide the board and folks in the audience and at home. I try to do this once a month, so I'm going to give you the summary of general fund year-to-date revenues and expenditures as of April 30th, 2021. So as of April 30th, 2021, the general fund year-to-date revenues are $6,315,882, which is an increase from April 2020 of $7,053. So in other words, our revenues are increasing over LY. As of April 30th, 2021, the general fund year-to-date expenses were $5,536,825, which is a decrease from April 2020 year-to-date of $500,000. So our revenues are up year-to-date, and our expenses are down year-to-date by $500,000. So
good.
Hang it in there, Your Honor.
Good job. Thank you.
So
yeah.
Thank you, Your Honor. I do have a press release that I'm going to read, and it's about the shooting this morning. So on May 24, 2021 at approximately 3:49 a.m., the DuPage County Merit Public Integrity Team responded to the 200 block of East Kenilworth Avenue in Villa Park to investigate the report of an officer-involved shooting. Investigators learned that a female called 911 at 2:06 a.m. to report that a person was walking around outside with a gun. Villa Park police officers arrived in the area and encountered a person who walked directly toward them while armed with a handgun. Investigators learned that officers told the person, sorry, Your Honor.
That's okay. Do you want me to read it?
I'll get there. That officers told the person, sorry, Your Honor, you want to pass off?
Okay, no problem. I understand completely. Villa Park police officers arrived in the area and encountered a person who walked directly toward them while armed with a handgun. Investigators learned that the officers told the person to drop the gun several times. An officer, in fear for his life, shot the person 4 times when they refused to drop the gun. Officers immediately began life-saving measures. Haven A. Bailey, 25-year-old female from the 200 block of East Kenilworth, was transported to Good Samaritan Hospital and later died from her injuries. Recovered from the scene was a black pellet gun made to look like a Sig Sauer 1911 pistol. The preliminary investigation revealed Bailey made the initial 911 call to report the person with a gun in the street, and the investigation is ongoing at this time. So that's really about all we know right now. Obviously, as Manager Keener just attested, it's a very unfortunate, very emotional incident, and we hope our police officers are doing well. It's unfortunate for this young lady and her family, but the investigation continues. Merit is doing their job of investigating all the incident itself, and hopefully we'll have a report from them, obviously when they're done. But it's very unfortunate. It's very tough on our officers and the community, but so we hope to just keep everybody in your prayers. Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. Comes to the end. We have a motion to adjourn. Trustee Solella.
Mr.
Trustee
President, second
Patrick. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're closed at 9:57. And our next meeting will be June 14th at 7 o'clock.